one of those conversations I had with the Oregon cheerleader, and what was the other one, Brown, where you were like, damn, you had a long weekend.
Khaleesi.
Yeah, Khaleesi. The daughter being named Khaleesi. Yeah. But talking to this Kentucky fan, diehard Kentucky fan, he's like, we would not have hired Mark Pope, going back to a conversation that we have a lot, if he wasn't a former Kentucky basketball player.
Of course he wouldn't. I mean, it's
you know who they wanted? Some of them, Rick Pitino, to come back.
I know 100%. 100%.
I know that, but
guy wins everywhere he goes.
I mean, I think Nate Oats is already the best basketball coach Alabama's ever had.
Yeah, he is.
You win a national championship, there is zero argument about it at that point.
Zach says Nate's agent in Kentucky talked. That's a known, going to be an interesting footnote in history, as reported from us at the Final Four. That was a true statement. And then Nate never officially was offered the job, but there were back channels reaching out, as we reported on this platform.
And I was actually talking about this yesterday randomly with someone I was playing golf with about how well-timed that Greg Byrne extension was. Keep in mind, the extension for Nate Oats came after they had leaked oil down the end of the regular season and crapped out of the SEC tournament. That extension did not come. I think people will look back on it like, oh, yeah, he got the Final Four extension. No, that was a holy crap, this season ended poorly extension, and he went to the Final Four after that.
Yeah, you wonder if this is going to be the same conversation that gets brought up with the flirtation of Nick Saban in Texas in 2012. And you hope, if you're an Alabama fan, that the aftermath plays out like it did for Nick Saban. But, back in 2012, Nick Saban had won, at that point, 3 national championships?
Yeah.
But you still can make an argument. If he went to Texas, okay, you kind of understand it. New scenery, doing something at Texas they haven't done in a while. And you could have made that argument with Nate leaving Kentucky. Now, at the end of the tenure, there is no way, when you look back, you're like, why would Nick Saban have left what he's got right now for Texas? If you're an Alabama fan, you hope the same is said with Kentucky.
And I think, too, Jim, like a lot of times, if you're not a blue blood, and Alabama's far from a basketball blue blood, nobody's going to make that argument. But if you're not a blue blood and you start to have success, you enjoy that success while part of it gnaws away at you that somebody's going to come steal my coach, right? We're better than we should be at where we are in the pecking order, so somebody's going to come steal my coach. And I think if you're an Alabama fan, you can rest pretty easy right now with Nate Oats. He has said all the right things. What he just said with Seth Davis was on the heels of that interview he did with former basketball Alabama coach Mark Gottfried, where he's like, why would you not want to be at a football power? That's how the economy works the best for a basketball team, is you coach at a football power, so they've got tons of money and tons of resources.
A new Pennant Grace is coming up shortly, 12:15 here in studio, where Emily Grace McWhorter and Josh will talk about the Braves dropping one last night, I believe, to Arizona. Is that what happened? They're playing another game in Arizona tonight before our weekend series in San Diego. They'll be talking Braves baseball and then sliding into a little bit more Major League Baseball. That's coming up. Yesterday, we did get the announcement of the rest of the home run derby field. Interesting note from this, though. We already knew Pete Alonso was in there. He's going for his 3rd home run derby championship. The one guy who has 3, Ken Griffey Jr. won it in 94, 98, and 99. Nobody else has 3. A lot of people don't go back multiple times to win one. Pete Alonso, if he wins it this year, would be his 3rd one.
He must enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. He's not one that has ever said, no, it's going to screw my swing up. He just keeps doing it, doesn't he?
I am not excited about this field at all.
Yeah,
I got your Dodger guy on late yesterday.
Yeah, Teoscar Hernandez has had a great season quietly because, he's not one of the big names, but, was a good player in Seattle, and he's having a hell of a season right now with Los Angeles.
I had toyed with the idea of going Monday.
Yeah, I might go.
But when I saw that field, though, Lance, I'm like you. I saw that field, and I'm like, I don't know that I want to spend that kind of money to go see that field.
That's the only thing. But I do want to see the stadium because you hyped it up.
The stadium's awesome.
Just walk around, have a couple of beers, and watch it. I mean, if I can get in for $100, I'd do it.
Dodgers and Phillies this afternoon at 5 o'clock. Phillies have won 2 straight over the Dodgers. They're the first to 60 games. And we did have last night Team USA in basketball taking on Canada, 86-72. The Americans won that game there. And pretty interesting. And at least right now, Barkley and the folks at TNT have lost the NBA, as you guys may have talked about yesterday, a $76 billion media rights deal, ESPN, NBC, and Amazon, though there is a clause that TNT could match the bid of any one of those 3 and be included back in. They most likely, if they decide to do that, they're going to try to target Amazon.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Georgia's our number one team in our 40 and 40 countdown. We'll talk Georgia Bulldogs later on. That's not letting the cat out of the bag. We've unveiled 39 teams, and we haven't done Georgia yet. So you guys are smart fans, and you voted on it. So the Dogs are number one. Bark if you want. Bark if you must. We'll talk Georgia later on. I got a good NFL 5-year window conversation I didn't get to yesterday. I want to ask these guys a little bit later on. And I was going to start the show with that. But then there was something else that popped up in my show notes. Scott Dockerman has a story, one of those what-if stories. Those, I think it's the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Is that what it was about?
Yeah.
Let me guess, Nick Saban.
That's such an intriguing one.
Oh, it really
if you
is.
ever do it, yeah.
No, I mean Nick Saban's coaching tree, or Nick Saban's retirement is one that's out there.
I think Drew Bledsoe not getting injured is a big one.
Oh, I would say.
This one from Scott Dockerman at The Athletic, I believe, is where I read this, is what if Arkansas had said no to the SEC in expansion back in 1990? Where would we be? But let me run through a couple of scenarios.
Real quick, my question would be, why would they ever have said no?
They weren't idiots,
Because
number one.
they always wanted to go to the Big Eight, and this goes back to 1978. Frank Broyles was asked about it, according to Scott's story. In 1978, they wanted out of the Southwest Conference. They were losing money on road trips to the Southwest Conference, to the private schools in the Southwest Conference, the TCUs, the SMUs, the Rices. It was costing them more money. They were not getting big gates back, and they were losing money like playing at Rice in conference. So Frank Broyles wanted out of the Southwest Conference and wanted to be in the Big Eight with Nebraska. What'd you just shoot?
Your pen just
I
exploded.
clicked my pen to write something down, and it literally just it had liftoff.
So
I've never seen that.
Just look over the spring is rolling.
Could that be a liability if that puts somebody's eye out?
Yeah, if the pin part shoots out, it kills one of us.
So 1978, Nebraska and Oklahoma were on their way to, they had the Big Eight going on back then.
Yep.
And then, Arkansas, Frank Broyles was asked about it in Tulsa at a quarterback club. If it ever came up, we would listen to the Big Eight. That would be a great fit.
Sure.
We're actually closer to the Big Eight schools than we are the Southwest
Yeah, they were
Conference
the
schools.
one non-Texas Southwest Conference school, right? Every other
That's right.
Southwest Conference school was in Texas. Yeah.
And he hinted back then, if Kansas State ever decides to shut down football, which they were they were discussing it back then. Apparently, in 1978, we're going to stop playing football, and they would join the Big Eight. The Big Eight had no desire to make it a 9-bid league, so Kansas State kept playing football. The Big Eight didn't want to become the Big 9. They didn't want to become, the Big Eight with 10 teams. They passed on expansion. So it doesn't come up again until 1987. And Arkansas and Rice at this point are the only Southwest Conference teams not on NCAA probation.
Say that again.
Arkansas and Rice are the only teams in the Southwest Conference in 1987 that are not on NCAA probation.
So that Texas A&M.
All of them.
Well, I'm just
SMU,
trying to remind everybody who was in there. Texas A&M, SMU, Houston, Texas Tech,
TCU.
and TCU.
Yeah.
Those are the other ones.
Yeah.
So all 6 of those were on NCAA probation at the
Yeah,
same
and
time.
I think, and I don't know if I doubt this is part of the story, but Roy Kramer, I think I remember an interview when he took over. His thing was to clean everything up, and when his tenure ended, and I guess Mike Slive took over,
Yeah.
I think the only program on probation was Arkansas track and field. I think.
Yeah, it was down very low.
But see, this is still the Southwest Conference, and at that point, Broyles is like, I'm done with this. He goes back now. Remember, I think at this point he's athletic director. He goes back to the Big Eight and says, hey, we want to come to the Big Eight. And they say, no, we're not taking you members. We just turned down, wait for it, Northern Illinois and North Texas. We're not taking you Arkansas, which is insanity that the Big Eight was not interested in them. So that's when he turned back and started talking to the Southeastern Conference in 1990. But the most interesting thing, there's one school that continues to pop up in this SEC expansion. In 1990, if Arkansas had said no to the SEC, Miami and Florida State was the first first people that Roy Kramer wanted to reach out to and got indications they were not interested.
So at the time, Miami was Big East or independent? I think they might have been independent.
Big East, I believe, at the time.
In 1990?
And remember,
Okay.
they were in the middle of 3 national championships on their way to a 4th in 91. They were a dynasty.
Yeah, because again, now for you younger audience, there was a time where schools outside of Notre Dame were independent and were like, this is the best move for us.
Right.
We don't need to be in a conference. It's
Penn
better
State
for us.
for a long time
Penn
until
State,
1990.
Miami. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a ton, but there were some that were like, no, independence is great for us.
So Miami and Florida State was Roy Kramer's wish list, according to Scott. But they were getting no interest back. South Carolina and Arkansas were the 2 that were invited, and they said yes. If Arkansas had said no, the school that Roy Kramer was going to reach out to,
Now, Scott knows this for a fact.
in his reporting, was going to be Virginia Tech.
Hokey high.
And that continues today to be a school that pops up when we talk about SEC expansion.
Well, I
Virginia
still
Tech.
think Virginia Tech, I think their journey would be much the same. Like, I think they would have had success with Frank Green in the SEC.
I'm with Lance with the play. I mean,
I don't know how much better. I don't think it would have been any better. I don't necessarily. It could have been a little worse.
I think Michael Vick would have been just fine in the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of seasons they would have won double-digit games.
Yeah.
They would have played for the SEC championship.
Didn't they play for a national championship one time?
Played
It's Florida
against
State.
Florida State. Yeah.
In the 90s, right?
98?
98.
No, 99.
Sugar Bowl, right?
99, yeah.
Sugar
the year
Bowl.
after Tennessee won.
Yeah. So that the whole thing there was how the Big 8 was so closed-minded, and their Big 12 commissioner now, which is what the Big 8 basically grew into with the Southwest Conference, he seems to be like, I'm open to anything. We're keeping the Big 12 alive. We'll go kill the ACC if we've got to.
I honestly
But
don't
back
think
then, closed doors.
I don't know. I don't think anything would have been different. Like, Arkansas has done absolutely nothing in the SEC. So maybe they have more success, and maybe Virginia Tech has a little success, or a little less success.
I mean, I would just what jumps out to me from that is, and we've got the benefit of hindsight, but it doesn't seem like we really need the benefit of hindsight in this. How dumb of a move that was for Miami and Florida State. So they were approached and said, no, we really don't have interest.
I assume through back channels or whatever. Well, I think it's pretty well documented that Florida State and Bobby Bowden chose between the SEC and the ACC.
Well, that was the way it was always painted.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was just like you ran to the ACC because it was easier or if that was true.
I mean, fact of the matter is he made a good decision. They dominated the ACC.
At that time he did.
Well, and you think about it back then, I mean, really, I mean, were there any prophets out there that were saying, hey, look, the SEC is going to completely dominate cash-wise?
That's what I said. We've got the benefit of hindsight, and they didn't.
And I think Florida State and Miami coming over to the SEC, I think Florida State's got less national championships.
Yeah, I mean, the SEC's been blessed.
I say that. They dominated the 90s. The 90s weren't that good outside of Florida and Tennessee.
Yeah. I mean, Roy Kramer is a visionary. Mike Slive was a visionary, and, Greg Sankey a visionary. The SEC's been blessed with this trio of commissioners they've had since then. But Roy Kramer did that expansion that brought in all this other expansion that we've seen now in realignment. All that to tell you that Ross Dellinger did an interview yesterday, and he says that Florida State and Clemson Big 12 discussions was speculation, that the way the buzz was going on, that there had to be some back channel discussions going on, speculation. So no firm discussion from the Big 12 on Florida State and Clemson, at least officially. Maybe some back channel stuff going on right now, but that Florida State Clemson discussion to the Big 12, don't hit fast forward yet on that. That's not a done deal like it maybe felt like. We were getting the bubblings at Big 12 Media Days, and you started going, man, this is sort of like the bubblings we were getting at the Pac-12 Media Days before it collapsed.
Yeah.
But that doesn't seem to be the case, according to Ross now in the aftermath of his story from Big 12 Media Days. Yeah,
and I'll stick with it. I think Florida State and Clemson need to get comfortable in the ACC.
I'm kind of with Lance. I don't know that they're going anywhere.
And I think the rest of the ACC needs to figure it out too, because those two leave. We've got the Power 3 after that.
I would say Clemson, Florida State. Do you want to sit back and one day you wake up and you read North Carolina and Virginia have joined the Big Ten?
Well, I think
that would be my fear, right?
Well,
How
yeah,
much
but
do you
that's-
trust the guy down the street?
Yeah, but you're not getting that Big Ten invite. So what your point is, you get out before they get the Big Ten invite, because Clemson and Florida State are not getting a Big Ten invite. That is not happening. Is that what you're saying, though?
Yeah, I'm
Is
saying
you're not saying they're missing the Big Ten. You're saying get out before they go to the Big Ten.
Yeah, because the ACC is going to it would collapse
At that
if
point,
North
yes.
Carolina and Virginia left.
Well, are you saying because basketball endowment, they do nothing? nothing in football. Like I think Florida State and Clemson could float it alone in football.
I think North Carolina is the linchpin to the ACC.
I think, Lance, the Big Ten likes to get schools that feel like the rest of the schools. And
they want schools where, great Americans were, studied on their hallowed grounds.
That's right. Yep. And we here in the SEC, we're just like, we're looking for a good TV product. Yeah,
that's right.
We're not going to take the bottom of the barrel.
Great home stadiums.
Yeah, that's right. Now, I mean, I think the Big Ten increasingly is going to have to figure this out because they can't just keep growing and keep adding money to Fox and NBC and CBS's bill. I mean, they just added 4 teams. That's a lot of money you got to get.
But just think how many business owners and legal teams of business owners or North Carolina and Virginia grads that would buy sponsorships in the Big Ten, advertising-wise for Fox and such.
Smart kids.
Yeah.
Back to your point, Brown. If you go back and watch a JP game back in the day where they had the neck rolls, and they go through the starting lineups, do you think any of those guys sound like Rhodes Scholars?
I didn't. No. I
got
never.
An old Georgia-Florida game. Yeah. They got to read their name off a teleprompter.
I grew up in Anniston, Alabama, watching SEC football. Never once did I confuse it for the Ivy League. Yeah. Not one time. Yes.
Troy in the mybookie.ag chat room. I say the Big 12 ultimately outlasts the ACC.
I would agree.
I would say officially on the show, we hope both of them stay around.
Yes.
We like the conferences.
Yeah, I do think the Big 12. It's funny. A lot of people focus on the ACC because of what Florida State did last year. Clemson's still there, and because of Miami this year, nobody's talking about the Big 12 at all.
Let me just. I'll go on the record for me. I'm fine if we never have any more expansion whatsoever. Period.
Me too.
And I'd also be fine if we, if there was never any more speculation. I'm not saying we don't have to talk about it. We do. But I'm just saying, if God said, okay, that's it.
Yeah, we can't do this anymore.
No more college football expansion or I'm going to flood the earth again. I would be okay with that.
I think Penn State to the Big Ten, and there's been 67 moves since then.
Yeah.
In 1990, I think Penn State technically
that started the first domino.
First.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think there are some people out there that would like a more expanded NFL where you've got 32 in the Big Ten and 32 in the SEC. I hope we never get to that point.
I'm with you.
Me too.
There's just nobody out there. It's going to happen again. I get it. But there's nobody out there that I would be like, man, I wish the SEC would go get them.
Yep.
Now, if the SEC is going to get people, there are people I'd rather them get. There is a pecking order. But there's nobody right now that's like, man, I wish the SEC would go get them.
Yep.
I would have said that about Texas, Oklahoma. Had you told me Texas, Oklahoma have interest in the SEC, I'd say, yeah, I'd like the SEC to go get them. I think it makes it better.
If you could have had USC and Oregon to take it to 18, would you guys take that?
No. I only say no just because of how disconnected it becomes.
Well, I mean, most of this stuff is anyway.
It's
the
getting more and more.
at least you can kind of hold hands across your region.
That's right. And it's not really a drivable league anymore, but it's mostly drivable.
It just works out probably where eventually we go to 24 and 24 super conferences, and we break them down into 8-team conferences, basically.
Right back what we used to have?
In the SEC, it'll be the Atlantic Division, the Southeast Division, the Southwest Division. And then in the Big Ten, it'll be the East, the Midwest, and the West.
It's going to be like cable. Like we went to streaming, and then all the streaming bundles together, and it's like, I think we used to call this cable. That was when I was growing up.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown behind the glass today. Forrester and Tyler in for Rockstar. So no lounge today. Coming up with our friends at the Floribama. Rockstar is off doing black jacket stuff. I assume that's where he is.
That is correct.
Birmingham show, right?
Where are they out of town?
Birmingham show.
No, he's got to be at the venue to set up everything.
Oh,
and
Rockstar's on the roadie crew too. I didn't know that.
Is it today? Today's
the
the 12th,
Rogoff
right?
made them work like that.
So tonight's the show.
Yes.
In Birmingham. Tonight's the show in Birmingham.
Yeah, if he were to come in, he would have to leave like right after the first hour pretty much to go.
So is he
set
doing
up.
voice exercises, getting his feet rubbed, like Artie laying in the green room, picking out which black T-shirt he's going to wear?
I think just the last part.
Forrester's back there doing his usual job. Lunceford is handling everything else. Taylor Korn is in there at the social media platform at Next Round Live. Give us a like, subscribe, and thumbs up everywhere. Show being brought to you in part today by our friends at Lunyas Furniture.
Hey, our friends at Lanyas Furniture believe in getting more style for less. Lanyas offers a great selection of furniture for your living room, bedroom, dining room, home office, entertainment, mattresses, and more. Lanyas can also help with your home design and decorating. They've got a huge event going on, store-wide savings. Get in, see Reggie, John, the fine folks there. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. They've also got up to $300 in Lanyas sleep credits with select mattress purchases or special financing. They've got a great inventory. They've got great pricing, great customer service from Birmingham. Take exit 280 right off of I-65, the Hallmark Farms exit. Go south on U.S. Highway 31 for 1.3 miles. Lanyas is going to be right there on your right. For more information, 205-647-4311.
Our good thoughts and prayers to Lane Kiffin, head coach of Ole Miss, one-time Alabama offensive coordinator, and the entire Kiffin family. The passing of Monte Kiffin yesterday, age 84, 50 years of coaching. From 1996 to 2008, he was with my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's these are pictures Lane sent out of he and Monte riding along on a horse there when Lane was a kid, and then there with a Viking shirt on to the left there. Lane talking about his hero yesterday, days there with NC State and the Minnesota Vikings.
I only remember kind of older Monte Kiffin when he was with Dunaway's Buccaneers. That was kind of my introduction to Monte Kiffin.
Me too.
But that photo on the left that Scott had up, first of all, from the distance, there's a little Ed Orgeron in it. But secondly, I mean, Monte was cut up, man.
Yeah.
But on that photo, look at that. I just remember old man Monte.
Always a Monte fan.
I was
in the
too.
NFL for 25 years.
Seemed like a nice guy.
And that Tampa 2 defense was dominant for a couple of years.
So they took to cover 2, and he and Tony Dungy tweaked it, and then everybody seemed to, with the success they had, run some version of the Tampa 2 now. It's in every NFL playbook.
Yeah. I mean, it's iconic. And you think about back in the day, during his entire tenure at Tampa, his defense has only allowed 17.5 points per game.
Yeah.
I remember,
sadly, that the offense usually averaged about 17.5 points per game.
Well, you guys didn't have the quarterback you needed. Brad Johnson was good enough. Sean King was not.
I remember Brock Heward one time talking about facing that Tampa 2 when he was in the NFL, facing Monte Kiffin. And he was like, you watch the film, and you were like, there are open passes all over the place. All over the place. I am going to rip this up.
Until you throw the football.
He said, and then you go into the game. He goes, try throwing one incompletion on first down and see what happens. He goes, you get behind the sticks on first down, and all of a sudden it is a different ball game.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, it was by far that year, in the really special year for the Rams in '99 when Kurt Warner was starting quarterback. That NFC Championship game, man, they could do absolutely nothing.
What was the final score?
It was
10-6, something like that.
I thought it was 12-9. Wasn't it a weird score?
I think it was 13-9.
13-9?
Yeah, I think it was 13-9 because Tampa actually came down. That was the old catch or was it trapped against the field? And I forgot who the receiver was. Yeah. Sean King was definitely the quarterback.
Changed the rule.
Yeah, but you guys were pretty much in field goal range. So I think it was 13-9. And the Rams were down, and they had to have like a miracle grab from Ricky Proehl, the former Wake Forest standout in the corner of the end zone. Not Isaac Bruce, not Isaac Heem, not Torrey Holt,
Ricky
but
Proehl.
Ricky Proehl.
By the way, I thought Ricky Proehl was out. It wasn't a catch. And
It was catch.
And then I thought the ball that hit the turf should have been a catch.
It shouldn't have been that close, though. But that's how good that defense was.
Am I wrong that Mike Shula was your offensive coordinator for that game?
I don't know if he was for that game, but at one point he was.
Yes.
I think he was.
Yeah.
No, I think he was for that game.
And trust me, the offense was awful.
I was about to say,
Yeah,
it looked a lot like the offenses we saw from
and
Mike
that Rams
Shula.
defense was good. But if you would have put that Tampa defense with that Rams offense,
By the way, the Rams and Bucks in the NFC Championship game twice. And let me see if I got this right.
Yep.
Combined 23-9, the final score for 2 games.
I think it was
10-0 the first time, right?
22, 9-0 first time.
9-0 first time.
Yeah.
9-0 in 1978.
79.
79.
Yeah. The 1980 playoffs.
Crazy.
I remember when Lane took the Tennessee job, Monte was actually the defensive coordinator, was he not? Or he was at least on the defensive staff.
He was.
He was the DC.
I think he was the DC when Lane first took the Tennessee job. Now, keep in mind, that was 2009. 2009.
I'm missing by a year on everything.
You were missing by a year on everything. I don't know why you keep doing
I'm in a
that.
window.
That was 2009, and Monte was the coordinator.
Yeah, right here I'm reading. Monte Kiffin spent the bulk of his later years working for Lane Kiffin. First as defensive coordinator at Tennessee in 2009, then USC from 2010-2012, then an analyst at Florida Atlantic and Ole Miss.
Yeah, guy was a defensive pioneer, really, and seemed like a really nice guy. Had a couple dealings with him, and just always seemed like a nice guy.
And he seemed like, they always say the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree.
Yeah.
I'm sure there were some similarities, but in front of a microphone, him and Lane Kiffin completely different. Not in front of a microphone. Well, we never saw Monte tweet out, just personalities.
Yeah. It felt different. Maybe if you really knew Monte, you'd be like, oh, no. Lane is the spitting image of his dad. Yeah.
So Monte Kiffin will be remembered on all the shows today as an innovator on the defensive side, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers joining everyone in mourning the loss of one of the great innovative coaches on the defensive side of the football in Monte Kiffin. One more thing to get to in the opening segment after Brownie tells us about our friends at johnsonrvcenter.com.
You find them on I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. That's where you find them. And both those lots have been drastically reduced price-wise, and they're so confident in their pricing that they will beat any price nationwide. That is a guarantee. You bring them a price on a comparable RV, they will absolutely beat it. And they also want to make sure you've got peace of mind. So RV Warranty Forever gives you a warranty on everything new and qualifying previously owned. You could see more on that. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, and always online at johnstonrvcenter.com.
Last night was the ESPYs, and I will only get into the Nick Saban part of this. Didn't watch much of it, but I happened to turn on right when they gave the Jimmy Valvano Award and then the Arthur Ashe Award and then the Icon Award, which goes to Nick Saban. Here's the scene last night. Mark Ingram and Bryce Young does the honor of introducing two Heisman winners, and I don't know if it was footwear or depth perception on my TV, how they were standing or what. But what's Mark Ingram's height and Bryce Young is small, and he looks like he is the power forward if they were starting a basketball team.
Yeah, I know you shrink the older you get, but Mark Ingram's only like 32, right?
Yeah.
I saw them standing next to each other behind Saban, and they looked the same height, and even that was a little startling.
Yeah, but Saban, when he shook Mark Ingram's and Bryce Young's hand afterwards, they all looked the same height.
Yeah, Mark Ingram played at 5'9".
So he was 5'9".
See, I would have said Mark Ingram was 5'10". Not much of a difference.
5'9", 215. I thought he was heavier than 215.
I mean, if Bryce truly is 6 feet, it's about 3 inches.
Yeah.
Especially with the camera shot. It
was about right. So Nick Saban rolled in about the same height there as well. But the Icon Award last night, and I told Maggie, I was like, I keep forgetting he's not coaching. He's up there, doing the Icon Award.
Kalen DeBoer's been on our show three times for 30 minutes at a time.
Yeah. I'm just saying he's not coaching anywhere. It's the Icon Award. It sort of started to set in when he was giving the speech.
Look, I mean, I didn't.
That's the gold watch.
I saw that he won that. I had ESP on this morning for a little bit. Based on the clips I saw and the comments I saw, if you were a guy, you had to check your balls at the door. It's the way it looked. It seemed pay women more, pay women more, pay women more. Take a shot at Harrison Butker. I love Harrison Butker was there, though. Yeah. He knew what was coming.
But good for Nick Saban and the Icon Award there. It was a special night for them. I don't know where it was, to be honest with you.
I didn't even know they were.
It was in New York.
I didn't even know they were doing it last night. Honestly, I had no idea the ESPYs were last night, and I guess I had missed the announcement that he was the Icon Award.
Yep. Is
that named after somebody, or is it just the Icon Award? It's not like the Arthur Ashe.
No, it's the Icon Award. Gleason won the Arthur Ashe. It was an emotional speech by him, and the pieces that go with that. There is Mark Ingram and Derrick Henry, that famous
Derrick
photo.
Henry a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Mark looks like
if you put Derrick Henry in Gladiator 2 and you put him out there with a spear, sword, chain and ball, whatever, boy, he'd be menacing.
Does it not look like Derrick Henry brought his son for the coin toss? Hey, my little fella here wants to toss the coin if you don't mind.
Yeah. All right, so there you go, opening segment. We'll jump into our 40 and 40 team, talk Georgia football when we come back. They're number one later on. Mike Griffith gives us more of that and a look ahead to SEC Media Days when he joins us to start hour number 3. New York Butcher Shop bringing you part of the first segment of the opening show today. They'll bring you great meals for the weekend. It's New York Butcher Shop, LT.
Yeah, this might be becoming a problem for me. I picked up smash burgers again from the New York Butcher Shop. Young Jack and his buddy Ryan were over, so I did smash burgers for us. That is the third time in 1 week that I've had smash burgers. Is that bad?
No. I mean, 3 smash burgers in 1 week? That's fantastic, actually.
Well, what if I'm doubling up?
I don't care.
I don't care.
I'm not judging
anyway,
you,
fresh meat, delicious sides. Again, the baked beans, absolutely incredible. Specialty items, deli sandwiches, great selection of fine wines and desserts. New York Butcher Shop, 2 locations, the original in Cabo Heights, newest location right there in Greystone, Highway 119. New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well done service.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make, so it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Lisa Zeig, Vice President Mortgage Loan Officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner, making it easy to buy with confidence. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Hey, you. School's coming back. Time to gear up. And at New Balance Birmingham, we know what's up. Before hitting the books, check out the looks. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Before we get to the 40 and 40, I'll tell you we're 43 days away from the start of college football. And next week, we got a programming note to tell you about. We're in Dallas Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And our live show is going to be at 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Central, brought to you by our friends at MyBookie, mybookie.ag, the presenting sponsor there. And then we've got content going out like we did last year in Nashville, all morning long, in the morning and then through the evening. So it'll be one of those where you'll want to stay tuned in. You never know when we may jump on live on YouTube or Instagram with something going on. We'll be kicking out interviews, recorded interviews from our stage there. And then live 12 to 4 Central Time on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday next week, brought to you by our friends at MyBookie, mybookie.ag, our presenting sponsor there, and other great sponsors that we'll tell you about next week from Dallas and all on our social media platforms. But the live show, 12 to 4 next week, brought to you by our friends at MyBookie. And there you see it there. And we appreciate you guys riding along with us to Dallas for SEC Media Days coming up next week. One note from college football about traveling, not to Dallas. This involves an ACC team. I love when people sit down and do math on travel schedules. The NFL plays 3 more road games than the Cal Berkeley Bears do, who are now in the ACC. 3 more road games for the NFL than Cal will play this year in football. Yet, Brownie and LT, 26 of the 32 NFL teams will travel to road games less than the Cal Bears will this year in college football. 26 of 32 NFL teams will travel to road games less than Cal will this year.
I would really like to see what their travel budget is.
UCLA's paying for it, so they know.
UCLA's paying for it.
Yeah, boy, this is going to be a mess. Because what are your expectations
for Cal?
Yeah, like
that they'll shut football down eventually.
Well, they've got a quarterback in Francisco Mendoza. I don't know if you guys have seen this kid play. He originally signed with Yale. He's like 6'5". He's a beanpole. He's like 200 pounds, but he can sling it around. And I remember watching him against USC last year, and he's going to be really good. And I still like Justin Wilcox. Justin Wilcox is one of those coaches that has been kind of buried and we never talk about because that is one of the most irrelevant programs out there.
I would agree. The Auburn folks had a great trip out there for Cal football. And here's their schedule. If you're looking for the road games, they're at Auburn, they're at Florida State, 2 lengthy trips there. They're at Pittsburgh, they're at Wake Forest, and they're at SMU.
I'm not trying to one-up your stat there, Dunaway. But Josh Pate put it in perspective as well. Did you see his?
I did not, but don't. I love one-ups.
Okay, I'm going to let Josh Pate one-up your stat. Cal will travel for their 5 road games a combined 24,000 miles this year, according to Josh Pate. The Earth's circumference is 24,900 miles. They are 900 miles under circumnavigating the Earth in a plane once they're finished with all their road trips.
And by the way, they'll do it in about 84 days. Wasn't that the old 80 days around the world?
180 days.
180 days. Huh?
Yeah, took a little longer back then.
Yeah, they have good planes.
Yeah, that was close again. Missed it by 100.
I think, Lance, you asked what are my expectations. I think if I were to set betting favorites of like national championship, conference championship, whatever, football falling back to FCS or just not even having football or not even having athletics was probably my betting favorite for Cal. I mean, I could foresee a day where they just don't play sports.
Boy, and that's going to be sad because, Cal has a
somewhat of a history.
Yeah, I don't want to say a proud football history.
No, it's not.
I go
They've
back.
They've had some good players.
I go back to that 2014 with Aaron Rodgers, and they would have been in the 14 playoff. They had 1 loss that year. It was to USC. It was a complete shootout. Aaron Rodgers was fantastic. Those were good Cal teams.
They've had some good players, and they were on the good end of one of the most famous plays in college football. That's about all I can say about Cal football.
Michelson Laser Vision, and then a couple of more things in this segment, including our 40 and 40 unveil coming up in just a second. Michelson did something for LT just a few years ago, it seems like.
Yeah, a lot of people procrastinating out there thinking about, hey, is LASIK right for me? If you wear the contacts, you wear the glasses, you're wasting money each and every year. I'm speaking from experience. It could potentially be for you. It's this simple. You call 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. She's going to schedule you a hassle-free consultation. You have nothing to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. Again, call 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. Ask about the pre-inflation pricing. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
One of our longtime listeners in the Huntsville, Alabama area, Philip, email me some pictures off of my bracket challenge payoff and getting into college facilities. He says Auburn has always been sort of open. Last summer, his travel baseball team had a break that he coaches, a break between games at a tournament. So they just went over to the Auburn facilities and see if they could get in. And he sent pictures of the team rolling in. They said they were able to walk on almost every playing surface. That's Plainsman Park right there. They got into the basketball arena, the basketball practice facility.
Practice facility, huh?
Yeah, and the one place they couldn't actually get onto the field, they could get into the stadium, but not onto the field at Jordan-Hare Stadium.
Let us in!
So did you start this?
Did I start what?
No, letting people just walk up to venues.
This was last summer, and he said the good news is after all the downtime, we went on to win the championship.
Well, good for them.
So shout out to the West Side Flight there for winning the championship and getting to tour the Auburn facilities. He says the crazy thing about it is only 2 kids on the team were Auburn fans. The rest were Alabama fans.
That's still cool to see that stuff, though, even if it's not your team. But I own road trips, and my wife and family have just accepted this. Like, if we're close to a major college football stadium, I do want to lay eyes on that stadium. And I have found more often than not, if you want to, you can find a way in.
Yeah, there's usually one gate open.
That's right. There's almost always somebody either painting something or laying sod or fixing a seat.
Yeah,
or
I've got
something.
a challenge.
Or they keep some of the equipment they use on other facilities inside an area at the stadium.
Or they got a gate dummy locked because they're going in and out of it all day. And, I generally am not going to remove a dummy lock because now I feel like I'm trespassing at that point. But, I mean, most of the time I don't go in, but the vast majority of the time I've tried to go in a stadium, I've been successful.
Okay, I got a challenge for our listeners. So we've got, I think, 50 days to the day. Is that right?
Of what?
First college football Saturday?
I think 43 to week 0. So
okay,
it's 50
so 50
days
to our big
So
ones.
we'll give them 50 if you can show inside of each 133 FBS stadiums some next round gear. We need all 133.
One member of the audience gets all 133?
No, that's impossible. But everybody chimes in, and whoever can have us the most shots from the most FBS stadiums, we'll give them $100 from the merch store. What do you guys think? I mean, I would love to see our gear in 133 stadiums.
I would agree. So they've got to be in our gear in a stadium is what you're saying.
Yes.
A T-shirt or hat.
Okay.
Yeah, T-shirt or hat,
Or a
all
koozie and a
133.
coat.
And if somebody has 5 and the next best is 4, whoever has 5 actually wins $100.
Okay, so let's clarify this now. Because the people, they're always, no, wait a minute, you didn't say. This has to be a pic
of the same person.
The same person in an empty stadium. This is not like, I went to a game at Texas A&M and I was wearing your hat. Do we count that?
No.
It's got to be from this point forward.
Yeah,
this point forward. Okay.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. No, we can.
How are we going to know it's a new picture, not an old picture?
Well, it doesn't have. I mean, how many people are in a Barron Stadium with our gear on?
Yeah, if it's an empty stadium with our gear on, I'm going to give them benefit
I'll
of
give
the
them
doubt.
that, and I would also say, even if it's not them, if somebody sends us a collection of 11 different people from stadiums, if you want to do that kind of legwork, we'll still hook you up.
Now, Goose is making the point in the mybookie.ag chat rooms. It's going to cost me more than the $100 of gas money.
Unless, and I go back to that point, Goose. If you know somebody, like if you know somebody in Eugene and Corvallis, and you know somebody in Norman, get on the phone. Hey, you run over to the stadium.
Okay, but so it can be a
different picture. Yeah,
different picture. It doesn't have to be the same person.
Nope.
Okay. Has to be our gear, though.
We just want our gear in all 133. Sound good?
Well, we'll take it. Yeah, $100 challenge from LT there.
Yeah, I like it.
If you have a question about the rules, just DM LT. He's got open DMs, I think. So
where's the?
Just hit him at the Lance Taylor.
Where's the submission point? We're just doing this via Twitter at Next Round Twitter.
Whatever's easy for Scott.
Shmoo in the chat bring up a good point. This could be done with AI, so we might need to specify that it is a picture of yourself or your family members.
Yeah,
gear
AI and
stadium.
Photoshop. Yeah.
Listen, I'll go ahead and tell you, Lunceford, good point. I'll go ahead and tell you that.
What is that? Who was Captain Payday?
All right.
I'll explain it later on. Yeah. So I think if it's
I know this?
I think if it's good AI, I'm down with it. I mean, if it looks good, if you can make if you can make me believe it, I'm down with it. If it's good AI, so whatever, we'll make it work. Let's get to our 40 and 40 team today, brought to you by our friends at mybookie.ag.
Code next round at mybookie.ag. When you sign on, you get that sign-on bonus. You can use it right away at mybookie.ag and start winning. They've revamped their VIP program, their customer loyalty program. We are about to talk about a team that actually, even though they're number one, Lance, he might make a case from being an underdog in one game. It's either going to be 12 or 11 that they'll be favorites. I don't know yet. But you'll be able to play all those games at mybookie.ag when they roll around. Mybookie.ag, code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag, code next round.
For sure. We started this back on May the 15th. And every show, you've gone to this graphic and unveiled one. Can you just give me the emotions? Give me Scott's mic. The emotions you have before you unveil the last one right here.
I'm getting a little choked up, to be honest with you here, Jim.
It's almost football season, Scott.
It's a big moment.
Yeah, I approach these 40 and 40s every year like this could be the last one we ever get to do. And so
this is your baby.
So here we go. Let's go clean read. Voted on by 94 of our viewers and listeners and us here on the show.
Do we need a drum roll?
We need a drum roll, please. Number one, here is our mybookie.ag number one team in our preseason poll. The Georgia Bulldogs. A complete full graphic there.
Oh, that's a good-looking graphic.
And Georgia is number
Boy,
one.
it seems like just yesterday we were talking about Houston. How are they in our top 40?
Yep. From Houston to Georgia and everywhere in between.
You know, if Georgia was coming off their first national championship or their first deep run, I don't know if people would trust that Kirby Smart would be able to reload after you lose Edwards and Melton, your top two rushers. You lose Brock Bowers, Ladd McConkey. You lost a lot off that team, but they do every single year. You've got 4 starters coming back on the offensive line. You've got a team that's going to have a massive chip on their shoulder. You look at Georgia over the last 6 full seasons, they've averaged 13 wins. Kirby Smart is doing exactly what Nick Saban did in Tuscaloosa. Exactly. And when you look at the schedule, if this is anybody else's schedule, this is a damn difficult schedule.
Ain't no doubt.
You got Clemson to open. You got to go to Kentucky. You got to go to Bama. You've got Auburn, at Texas, at Ole Miss, Tennessee. I mean, those are brutal games. Back to your original question, I think they'll probably be favored in 12, but they could be dogs in Tuscaloosa, depending on how Alabama's playing.
Interesting.
And they could be a dog in Texas. If Texas, the week before, has got Oklahoma. If Texas walks Oklahoma off the field and they're undefeated, there is a slight shot, but I think they'll be favored in 12.
So here's the thing on that schedule is, first of all, Georgia has been dogged, pun intended, for having an easy schedule because they played in the East primarily, right? And there was some validity to it. I used to always make the point, like when we talked about it last year, Georgia only gets to control a very small portion of that schedule. They can't help what the SEC is, right? But this year, you could make the argument, depending on how you feel about Ole Miss, that Georgia has to go on the road to 3 of the 4 playoff teams in the Southeastern Conference. I mean, I could see Georgia making the playoffs, Alabama making the playoffs, Texas making the playoffs, and Ole Miss. They've got to go to all 3 of those.
I was just going to say the projected playoffs by most, Georgia plays 4 teams, and none of them in Athens.
Yeah.
Atlanta and 3 road games.
That's right.
If I told you this is going to be the 2015 version of Ohio State, would you believe me?
Remind me 2015 Ohio State.
They couldn't be beaten. They opened up with Virginia Tech. They ended up running Virginia Tech off the field, and they ended up, I think, losing 2 games.
No, we said they couldn't be beaten, and it may have been that Phillip guy who I just talked about kept emailing us yard talking about like this Ohio State team can't be beat because they'd won the national championship.
Yeah, remember
and
they won it with
back.
Cardell Jones. They had all 3 quarterbacks coming back.
Yeah.
They seemed like they were going to be unbeatable, and what did they do? I think they lost 2 games. They didn't even play for the national championship. I'm just saying, if Georgia's -2 in Tuscaloosa in turnovers, loss. -2 in Texas, loss. -2 Ole Miss, loss. I mean, there are losable games out there. But I do want to remind you, 3 straight years of undefeated regular seasons for Georgia, which is insane.
But 10-2 still going to get Georgia in the playoffs, which is what's scary because back in Saban's days when they didn't make the playoffs, if they had ever gotten in, you'd be like, well, they're still going to be a pretty good team if they get in the playoffs. This Georgia team, even if they get to the playoffs, that could be one of those teams that have to play in the first round. And then they could still be they could go the long way, not have a bye. They could go the long way to win the national championship.
If you want to shake up week 1, and I see Gary Lloyd, author over there in the mybookie.ag chat room, got a weird feeling about Clemson over Georgia. If Georgia was to lose that game and then you've got everything else left, 2 things, everybody's like, okay, Clemson's back. And then the other thing, Georgia might have a problem. I don't think they lose that game. I think they're going to be 10, 12 point
I looked
favorites.
again yesterday because I was doing a little project for Little T that you'll have out on our TikTok coming up next week, and I needed the point spread for that game. It is still 13.5 at mybookie.ag. Georgia almost a full 2-touchdown favorite in that one. That's a hefty number.
Georgia's going to be a double-digit plus favorite in 8 games.
Did you mention receivers there? Who they're
Dominic Lovett is going to be really good. He's more of a slot guy, though. And then you bring in ETN, who's going to be really good in the backfield. I don't know who those other receivers. I'm sure they've got 4 and 5 stars all over them.
I would imagine
they do. But like you said, Nick Saban did this every year, and that's what Kirby is doing. But if Carson Beck's great, but do they have playmakers on the edge that you got to have?
I'll say this about Georgia. I mean, you guys help me out. George Pickens has become next level in the NFL without good quarterback play. But he wasn't that at Georgia because he can never get on the field.
That's right.
And I can't remember the last truly dominant wide receiver. So he's been able to do this with Stetson Bennett and no number 1 top end wide receivers.
I mean, think about it. Like Mecole Hardman, better in the NFL than at Georgia?
Yes.
George Pickens, better in the NFL than at Georgia. I was going to go back to A.J. Green. That's unfair to Mark Richt, though. That was unfair to Kirby Smart. That was a Mark Richt receiver, A.J. Green.
And he was elite.
Yeah, he was elite at Georgia.
Now, he might have been the last elite Georgia receiver.
Yeah, I was trying to think of one.
I mean, the kid that wrote
then.
the children's book that played, really nice guy. He was really good in college, wrote the children's book, played for the Patriots.
Benjamin Watson?
No.
The tight end?
Starts with an M. Cannot believe
Mohamed Massaquoi?
No, can't believe I forgot this kid's name. We had him on.
Burton was better at Alabama than he was at
About
Georgia.
the same. You know, I thought Burton was kind of a B minus.
Jermaine Burton, yeah. It felt
Malcolm Mitchell.
Malcolm Mitchell?
Is that right?
Yeah. He played better in the NFL than at Georgia?
No, about the same.
About the same. I mean, that's the thing, though. I mean, it seems like that is the one thing that has eluded Georgia is the. Now, look, Ladd McConkey ended up being a really, really good receiver. I doubted him. I made jokes about him because he's a white guy. Seems like a slow white guy. He wasn't that. Right, but he's an NFL receiver now, and we'll see what kind of career he has.
Brock Bowers leveled the playing field. They freed up those receivers a little bit because you had to put 2 on it.
Yeah.
So
and you wonder what you get at the tight end position this year from Georgia. You're not going to get Brock Bowers.
No, I wouldn't say.
They think this next guy's going to be really good.
Well, they do. 5-star guy. He's coming in. A couple of them. All right, that's Georgia. They're number 1 in our MyBookie.ag team. The Dogs have not lost an SEC regular season game since 2020. The pandemic year, and they slide in at number 1. Tell us about MyBookie Brownie.
By the way,
A.D. Mitchell better at Texas than at Georgia?
Oh, yeah. He was better at Texas.
Yeah.
Do we have our bet again? I've lost three straight streaks.
About Georgia being unbeaten in the regular season. I've won 3 straight years with that.
Yeah.
I feel like I should give you one back on the just keep riding Georgia until they lose, right?
If they do it this year, I mean,
it's crazy.
I think what would be more impressive, the 5 national championships from Saban in Tuscaloosa, or 4 consecutive undefeated regular seasons?
The national championships. The only thing I'll say about the 4 undefeated regular seasons is you have to admit they feasted on a weaker division.
Not now.
Not anymore. I mean, divisions are gone now, so it's real man now.
And by the way, please put on the earmuffs, Shedeur Sanders. Georgia is everybody's Super Bowl.
MyBookie.ag, code next round. When you sign on at MyBookie.ag, you get that bonus, and you can play it right away. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag, code next round. MyBookie.ag, code next round.
Let's get into a little practice here. Dead wood is a phrase we use here. It goes back to a bowling pin.
That's right.
That kicks out of the sequence into the gutter. It's called dead wood on whatever lane. So when we make a mistake, we call it deadwood here on the show. Did you say 5 national championships at Alabama?
Yeah, I got
the deadwood is 6 is
sorry,
flying
I can't
up there.
Get it right.
I had to explain that to a potential new client this week, and they had no idea. I mean, that reference must be old.
Oh, it is. It was when I was a kid.
Jim taught it to me.
Yeah, when I was a kid, they would come on to let the maintenance guy go. I don't know if they'd say the name or what. Tony, we got deadwood on 7. Deadwood on 7.
Jim, your French fries are ready.
I love the French fries at the bowling alley. All right, so there you go. The MyBookie.ag team is number 1. Little T will be sending out that whole 40 ranking graphic a little bit later on, and we'll pump that out. If you missed any of those, you can go back and watch them throughout the day. Show being brought to you by Urology Centers of Alabama. 16 locations in the great state of Alabama for you all of us guys to stay on top of our health, whether it's prostate health all the way to kidney stones and everything in between. Urology Centers of Alabama can keep you where you need to be. The phone number is 205-930-0920, 930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com. Again, 16 locations, 36 urologists at those great locations waiting on you to make an appointment today. urologycentersalabama.com.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trustful. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Our friends at Longest Furniture believe in getting more style for less. Longest offers a great selection of furniture for your living room, bedroom, dining room, home office, and entertainment room, helping you elevate your home design and decor. Longest offers everything from vibrant outdoor furniture to breezy home accents. Everything you need to create your own sunshine sanctuary. Right now, you can save up to 10% store-wide, receive $300 in Longest sleep credits with select mattress purchases, and access special financing on tons of hot buys. Take exit 280 off the I-65 Hallmark Farms exit today to see what Longest has to offer you.
For a great experience in golf, go to Bent Brook, just off I-459 in the Birmingham area. You've got 27 holes where you can play your 18 holes 6 different ways. Open 7 days a week with 5 sets of tees that makes golf enjoyable for any level golfer. You get complimentary GPS on every golf cart, and the AU Victory bent grass greens play as pure as any in the area. Bent Brook continues to improve with upgraded greens and redesigned holes. Book that next tee time right now. BentBrook.com. BentBrook.com.
Back with you on the Next Round as we roll on. Show number 741 today. We'll do 4 downs coming up in this segment as we get ready for Mike Griffith to join the show to talk more Georgia football coming up. Tiger Stadium for you LSU fans. 100 years of Tiger Stadium down in Baton Rouge. New video boards going up this year. New LED lights and new ribbon boards for Tiger Stadium for the 100th anniversary of one of the great venues in college football.
Everybody trying to do things to keep people in the stadium, aren't they? And I guess that helps. I mean, the ribbon board is obviously for advertising. I mean, that's not keeping anybody in a stadium. But the video boards do.
The ribbon board when you're running scores on it.
Everybody's got scores on their phone, don't they?
Yeah, but I mean, I do think it helps that, sometimes if you're not getting a signal, those scores just run. You guys remember how long it used to take to get a score in a stadium.
Yeah, it's primarily for advertising. The video board is what everybody's going to try to do to keep people in the stadium. And I don't know that we're ever going to get to a point where they will show other games during timeouts. Will we?
I think they already do that.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Where?
I don't.
They do some in Tuscaloosa.
Really?
Absolutely.
During actual in-game timeouts, they show other games.
I know they do at Jordan Hare.
Now, I've seen it pre-game at Jordan Hare. I've never really seen it in-game.
No, I've seen some. I mean, you do have some commercial breaks going on, but I've seen them put up in-action games at some of the stadiums. Yeah.
You guys think there will ever be a time, and I know this is here now in the NFL, but we talked about pulling stadiums back. Who was it that remodeled and actually downgraded?
Florida State.
Yeah, Florida State.
Yeah.
Do you think there will become a time where you have a said sports book slash, sports book slash sports bar in these stadiums with all the games on, where you can dip out, you can go in
college?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I would have no problem with it.
I mean, I would love
MGM or Caesars inside a. Yeah, I'd have no problem with it. I think it absolutely is going to happen at every NFL stadium.
Yeah, I know that. But if you've got South Florida early in the season and Alabama's up 28, You don't necessarily have to leave the game. You can go sit back, have a cocktail, put a wager in, and watch other games.
Go ahead.
If you will notice, between the 30s, I think it is, at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the lower level seats often look empty, especially right after halftime. Because, to your point, those tickets, you can go down underneath and you've got higher end dining options. You can walk out onto the field, not the actual field, but the sidelines, behind a barrier.
Yep.
And oftentimes when the second half starts, not just because Scott's Falcons suck, but when the second half starts, those seats are primarily empty because people are just down there having a beverage and watching the game on TV and other games on TV. And that's the balance you have to strike, is like, I want to make it really, really nice and give them every amenity, but it's also sometimes probably going to mean some open seats while my game is going on.
All right, Josh got the answer. Just sit in the skybox.
Well, that's an easy answer. Everybody just go buy a skybox.
Lance's Lock every day. Lance'sLock.com, brought to you by our friends at Hemphill.
Hemphill Services, 205-229-2090. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues. Whether any of these things arise, they are ready to serve you. 205-229-2090. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there, or hemphillservices.com.
Lance'sLock.com. Will you take a shot at soccer on Sunday?
I don't think so. I'll never say never. Coming off a 2-1 last night.
How do you bet soccer? Just totals?
Just a winner?
No, I mean, you can bet
money line.
You can bet either side money line, and then you've got draws too.
Yeah.
It's a little complicated. I'm just not a big soccer guy.
Even if they go to penalty kicks, if they end regulation in a draw,
yeah,
you
that's
get
it pays. Is that what it pays?
I'm just saying that England has never won the Euros, and I think they're playing Spain on Sunday. Spain and England. So history says England's not going to win this game.
Well, I've got a YouTube channel, Win at Lance's Lock now.
Yeah.
Just started this up this week, but if you want to jump on and break down the soccer for me, you can.
Oh,
we're going to be doing a lot of interactive stuff coming up.
I'm not sure you want me to do it, unless you want to fade me. But
right now, got 5 best win totals in college football up.
Yeah, I got a feeling I'm going to go history and Spain wins it again, but
you don't know.
But this is when the message board.
Well, check mybookie.ag. Of Spain a heavy favorite?
This is where the message board says Jim Spain's not even in the game.
You don't know who's in the game?
I think it's Spain and England. Pretty sure it is.
So will you watch?
No, I'll be on the. All
right. So I've got Sunday. This is mybookie.ag. Code next round. Spain is a -half favorite. England is -180. Spain is +140. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
No. Hang on. The money line, England is +240, Spain is +145. Your total is 2.5.
I don't know if you know this, Brown. They don't score a lot in soccer.
A draw is +180. So that's how you would play that. So you can either bet Spain +145, a draw +180, or England +240.
You think about a 2-1 final, you lose if you take the under. I'm going to play the under here, though.
It feels very 2-1-ish to me.
Feels very 1-0 to me.
Feels very 2-1-ish to me. All right, one more thing to get to here in this segment. Our friend Dennis Dodd, who writes at CBSSports.com, he did his annual hot seat rankings this week, 1 to 100, and I think it's 34, 1 to 134. And he does it where 5, your seat's burning and you're likely going to get fired unless you have something special. 4 is you're in that window. 3, 2, 1, there's no chance you're being fired that way. So 5 is the worst you can be.
I know who's a 5.
There was only one 5.
Yeah, and that's Billy Napier.
Yeah. Yeah, Napier. Was Napier a 5 there?
I didn't see the list, but he's got to be.
Sam Pittman was a 5. I think he had Napier as a 4.
I don't know how, but Sam Pittman probably should be a 5 too.
But here's what I wanted to do real quick. You tell me how the season. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 coaches. You tell me how it ends for them. Sam Pittman.
Fired. I just don't see, with their schedule, this new SEC, they basically did the vote of confidence at the end of last year. Now, they had some injuries, but Missouri runs them off the field after the vote of confidence.
Let me do it this way.
Okay.
Not what will happen. What you would do if you were the AD.
I would fire Sam Pittman.
Well, you hadn't seen the season.
Well, I'm saying.
So let's just say that they get a swing game at Oak State. You beat A&M at home.
Okay.
You beat LSU or Texas
Good
at home.
Lord, Lance, and you watch them?
Well, yeah, but
then I don't fire him.
Let me say this: what you think Arkansas is going to do, whatever you think Arkansas is going to do.
I think Arkansas is going to be 4-8, and I'll fire Sam Pittman.
I think they're probably going to be 5-7.
I'd probably still fire Sam.
You're the AD.
I mean, who could I get?
That's the question. That's what makes it interesting.
I mean, the guy I've got has been 4-8 and 5-7. So who could I get?
Am I going to bring Barry Odom back?
Probably better.
No, you get Bobby Petrino's on the staff.
Yeah.
But, Dave Aranda.
And Barry Odom was the defensive coordinator for a minute, right?
He was, yes.
He's doing a heck of a job at UNLV, right?
He had a good job last year. I mean, he's got to back it up.
Dave Aranda, I think he is going to get fired because, again, I think the Big 12 is going to be much better than people expect it to be.
Let's say he's 6-6.
He's had one good year and he's had one really bad year. And
this is year 3 for him?
I think this is year 3.
It's 6-6. I'll probably give him one more year.
Boy, he opens now Tarleton State, after that at Utah. Then he's got an out-of-conference with Air Force. Would you want to play Air Force after you play in Utah, sandwiched between a game going to Boulder?
I would not. Yeah. Is that at home? Is that in Waco at least?
It
Air
is.
Force?
It is. But the 2 other road games. And tough, like tricky at Iowa State, at Texas Tech, Aranda's not going to be around.
Yeah, those places that you go to where on paper Baylor you would think is going to win that game, Texas Tech. If it's in Waco, you think Baylor wins it. Like, Lubbock, you don't think they win it.
Yeah, I would almost rather flip the schedule and, have teams like Colorado at home, Iowa State, Texas Tech, West Virginia, and Houston at home. Because you feel like you win those games at home, but on the road, who knows?
Well, I'll do the others when we come back here, and we'll do the 4 downs today as we continue on. We did do the official state bet again because if I've won 3 with Georgia going unbeaten in the regular season, it's only fair if I keep going until they lose.
Why stop now?
Even if I lose it, I've +2 in
that's
that,
right.
in
That's
that
the way
state
you,
bet. I mean,
that's the way you vary. Yeah,
that was an official state
we
bet.
We can downgrade that all we want, but to win 24 consecutive games in the SEC over 3 seasons.
Well, I think
people
people were startled that you compared it to 6 national championships. I think is what.
No, it is. I mean, it is. I mean, percentage wise.
Yeah. So we're at the top of the hour here. Show being brought to you by our great friends at Oats. Love both locations, but that new Homewood location, we were by there the other day. Great folks, great food. Man.
Yeah, really underrated food. You go to a typical bar and you have some of the food and you're like, how was the food? It's bar food. This is not Oats. If you've never had it before, Rodney Davis takes pride. He's been doing it for more than 3 decades. From the wings, the burgers, the great sandwiches. Stop in, see Will Haver and that great staff. 2 locations. Dunaway mentioned the newest location in Edgewood, the corner of Oxmoor and Broadway right there in Homewood. Also, the original location at Crestline. Live music tonight and tomorrow night. Get in and see Will Haver and that great staff. Ice cold beer buckets full of Bud Light. It is Oats Tavern.
Everything Alabama, all the time. Subscribe and set alerts at Roll Tide Pods on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
There is no better place to watch your favorite sporting events and enjoy great food than one of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons. The TVs are everywhere with your favorite sports, and the menu is second to none. From the great appetizers like the waffle cheese fries to the Avery Island salad, handhelds like the all-new chicken bomber, bistro specialties with a special taste of the bayou, the amazing hand-patty burgers, the great po' boys, and the specialty drinks. Visit any of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons: Greystone, Stadium Trace and Hoover, and the brand new location in Trussville.
You never know what we're up to here at The Next Round. The easiest way to stay in the know with our antics and adventures is to follow The Next Round across all social media platforms at Next Round Live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Whether it's Dunaway sleeping in the studio, Tim and Lunceford breaking down the latest movie release, or Game Day Chronicles, we are here to keep you updated on the latest sports news while, of course, having just a little bit of fun. Follow at Next Round Live across all platforms to join in.
Our friends at Long Use Furniture believe in getting more style for less. Long Use offers a great selection of furniture for your living room, bedroom, dining room, home office, and entertainment room, helping you elevate your home design and decor. Long Use offers everything from vibrant outdoor furniture to breezy home accents. Everything you need to create your own sunshine sanctuary. Right now, you can save up to 10% store-wide, receive $300 in Long Use sleep credits with select mattress purchases, and access special financing on tons of hot buys. Take exit 280 off the I-65 Hallmark Farms exit today to see what Long Use has to offer you.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Hour 2 of the show on this Friday. LTD&B with you. Lunceford, Forrester, and Tyler. Rockstar off today. Taylor, Korn, EG in the Social Media Center. Last show here in Birmingham before we go off to SEC Media Days. Our coverage being brought to you by a lot of great sponsors, including our title sponsor, MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. A reminder, our live show Monday through Thursday will be 12 to 4 p.m. Central Time. Brandy, explain to them why we're doing this and what all we'll be doing in Dallas.
So we'll drop a whole lot of on-demand interviews as we did last year with coaches and players. And then 12 to 4, we will be live with numerous personalities from the SEC Network, members of the media, and then some other coaches and players. So 12 to 4 will be the live show, but you'll also want to make sure you follow us on social media at Next Round Live. Really, all of our social media accounts will have stuff from there at Next Round Live, content from there. And then make sure you set your alerts on YouTube. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that and set your alerts so you get the alert when we're live. It's a different time, so you might need the quick reminder. If you set the alert, as soon as we go live, boom, you get the alert. You can click on it and watch us on YouTube. And as we always ask, while you're there, give us a thumbs up. That helps us a ton, too.
Yeah, right there. Next week from Dallas. Looking forward to that always at SEC Media Days. On Uncorked this week, we were talking about it. I can't remember when Herb Winch's and the Skyriders tour ended and we started having media come to Birmingham for Media Days, what year that was.
I can answer that.
Yeah, ask Chuck when we started.
No, he sent it out the other day. I got it right here. Hang on.
Because I told, other than the post BP oil spill, I've been to every SEC Media Day since 1989.
Why the post BP oil spill?
Because we couldn't go to a family vacation down at the Gulf, and we booked one in Hilton Head with our whole Sunday school class. And the kids in Hilton Head that year because we couldn't go to the Gulf because of the oil spill. And it happened to be the same week as SEC Media Days.
I guess we didn't have one in 2020, right?
I think it was virtual.
There's no way we had one. Yeah,
it was virtual.
So that's outside of that one, I haven't missed since 2002.
Yeah. That's
so 1985 started at Holiday Inn Medical Center. Is that down by the airport?
Yep.
That's the Holiday Inn down by the airport?
Yeah.
So they would just fly teams in, go right to the Holiday Inn, and get out?
I did not do that one.
All right. 86 to 87 was the Birmingham Hilton. Where's the Birmingham Hilton?
Right by the Civic Center.
Yep.
BJCC.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
It used to be a Hilton. Now it's a Sheraton.
Okay. Then they went to the Winfrey for a couple of years, and then moved it back downtown to the Sheraton in 92 to 2000. And then back to the Winfrey from 01 to 17. Long run at the Winfrey. And since then, it's been College Football Hall of Fame, Winfrey, Omni in Atlanta, and the Grand Hyatt Nashville, now the Omni in Dallas.
I guess my first one was 88. It was at the hotel ballrooms downstairs. And then it felt like one year we did it up at the top of the staircase. Well, that's in that hotel. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where Radio Row was, in the lobby at the Sheraton.
I personally think Atlanta is the best place to have it.
I think you'll see a little bit of a rotation, but I think Atlanta and Nashville are going to be heavy in that rotation. I'm afraid Birmingham is not. I don't think it'll be back to Birmingham, frankly.
I think Nashville's the best location.
See, I think Nashville with the construction. Nashville.
They've got to finish that at some point, right?
It was a complete pain in the ass last year. There's way too much going on. I think in Atlanta, it's an easy flight for everyone.
I'll reserve judgment on Dallas. I like that hotel, the Omni. We've actually done shows from there 2 times because of bowl games.
Our friends at CPAP bringing you part of the show here. CPAP Plus LT. Man, a lot of people that I know use a CPAP machine, and if they don't know how much technology has changed, if they're still using an old machine like our buddy Ush is, this new technology is just unbelievable.
Ush actually went in to see the guys. Go see the O'Neill brothers. Don't buy your mask and supplies from Amazon or online. Go see the folks at CPAP Plus. See what you're buying. Visit any of those 3 convenient locations. Pelham, Highway 280, now open and trustful, for a free CPAP checkup and free filters. No appointment is needed. They carry the best equipment from names like ResMed, React, Fisher Paykel, with masks and supplies in stock every day. Do you need it today? Guess what? They've actually got it today with over 200 5-star reviews on Google. The folks at CPAP Plus are CPAP users themselves, so the people helping you know what it's like and are ready to help. They also have the CPAP travel machines in stock. You can sign up for their July giveaway of one of those free travel CPAP machines. Just Google CPAP Plus or come into one of those 3 convenient locations and make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you.
Finishing the Dennis Dodd hot seat list, Pittman and Aranda are in a hot situation. So too is Kalani Sitake at BYU. A good fit for Sitake there. I love his passion, the way he coaches. For what you expect of BYU this year, first of all, are they a Big 12 contender, do you think?
I do not think they are.
Yeah.
And, Kalani Sitake is a guy I like. I love watching his players play for him.
Yeah,
I've always
play hard
said that.
for him. Yep.
They play really hard. I think attitude is a thing that will travel, but it was such a disappointing year, one in the Big 12 last year. And, I don't know if I would put him on a hot seat. 20 he was 11-1, 21 he was 10-3. It has gone down 8-5, 5-7. I do think he needs a 6-win, 7-win season. Anything less could be a problem.
In that process, though, he ended up moving to the Big 12 last year, so it did get a little more difficult. Brownie?
8 years he's been there. That was surprising to me when I was looking up his record. I'm like, holy crap, he goes back to 2016.
61-41, that's okay. I don't know how good can BYU really be.
Napier and Clarkley, obviously. Now, these 3 are not in the hot seat scenario, but I think LT has mentioned a couple of times you can paint a scenario where Ryan Day could be forced out.
9-3. We talked to Bobby Carpenter yesterday. That would be sky is falling. But yeah, if they went 9-3, lost to Michigan again, I think he's out.
And you can paint a scenario where Mario Cristobal could lose his job at Miami?
Look, he's 12-13 in 2 years. And in year 3, if you go out and you spend the money that Miami spent just on 2 players, in Cam Ward and Damian Martinez, and you're not contending for the ACC right now, and by the way, Florida State just went undefeated, your cross-state rival in conference last year, and I would say the resources are as good at Miami right now.
And then one I just circle here, because they just gave him the new, we called it almost a Jimbo Fisher-like contract, because Brent Venables had a good year last year, not a great year, a good year last year, in his second year, and now they're coming in with maybe the toughest schedule or second toughest schedule in the SEC this year. It almost felt like they gave that contract extension to him this summer, knowing that it could be a 6-6 year for Oklahoma to keep him off the hot seat.
Yeah, 6 wins to 10 wins. I thought Oklahoma was really good with Dylan Gabriel. If you're an Oklahoma fan, wouldn't you take 7-5 if Jackson Arnold looks really good?
Because that means you got him for the future.
Yeah, you've got him 2 more years. I think 7-5 with that schedule and Jackson Arnold looking like a quarterback where the moment is not too big in the SEC.
I don't know
take it.
I don't know how realistic. I just haven't dealt with many Oklahoma fans, so I don't know how realistic they are. They're college football fans, so I'm supposing not very realistic.
They're a edgier Nebraska fan.
Okay. The vast majority of college football fans are not realistic, so I'm assuming Oklahoma has numerous fans that fall in that category. A realistic fan would look at Oklahoma in this first-year schedule in the SEC and say 7-5, 8-4. If we're showing promise, that is not bad. But I know how fans are. You don't want to come into the league the first year and get humbled. Right. And pair that with the fact that if Texas doesn't come in this first year and get humbled, it's even worse for their fan base. I think you've got to factor that in with Brent Venables.
Here's where it gets interesting, though. If you go 7-5, they're going to beat 2 teams they're underdogs to. I really believe that they're going to be underdogs a lot with this schedule. So let's give them Temple, Houston, Tulane, South Carolina at home, and Maine at home. So then you've still got Tennessee, at Auburn, Texas, at Ole Miss, at Missouri, Alabama, at LSU. Those are 7 brutal games. If you were to give me 2-5 in those games, 7-5 overall, and Jackson Arnold looks good, I can stomach it. I don't love it, but I can stomach it.
You'd keep him around hoping that better days are to come. I think that's why they gave him the contract. Every day on the show, we tell you about our friends at Slice, and we come up with 4 downs for you. Thursday, it's Rockstar. 98% of the other times, it is LT's 4 downs. Brought to you by the great folks at Slice.
Our friends at Slice, 5 locations for you. My nieces are coming in town tonight. They want to go to Slice. We are heading to one of those locations, the original in Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park, and now Edgewood. Get in and see the Bajaya Brothers, local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, slicebirmingham.com. Tyler, I've got 5 downs for you.
Oh, Lord.
Ooh.
First down.
I'll need you to do an impersonation on the 5th one, okay?
That's what Rockstar would do, Tyler.
I did one on the fly when we were having a conversation earlier.
Okay.
So, more wins, Georgia or the Kansas City Chiefs? You get Georgia the entirety, maybe 15-0. You get Kansas City just regular season.
No offense, Forster, that we had to. Usually it's Georgia or the team and the closest pro team.
Yeah, that was too easy.
We had to fly over Atlanta, Nashville, and to go to Kansas City.
Would you take Atlanta's next 22 football games or Georgia this season?
So I get 22 Atlanta games.
To Georgia's 12 plus whatever.
12. I would take Atlanta's 22.
Oh, I think I'd take Georgia. I
mean, 22-7 is, if Georgia's 15-0, 22-7 is a really, or no, wait a minute, that'd be
no, I misunderstood
15-7.
Yeah. That's what I was going with. You only get Georgia's regular season.
Yeah,
I thought you were asking.
Right. No. You get Georgia. You get the entirety of the season.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It could be up to 15.
But even like a 12-2 Georgia, 12-10 wouldn't be out of the question for Atlanta.
No, I had Atlanta in that number there going, 12-10.
Okay, I didn't mean to confuse us with Atlanta, because back to the Chiefs. Chiefs, I think 12-5 probably.
Yeah, I think I'll take Georgia.
I'll take Georgia because I feel like it'll be another sleepwalk year for the Chiefs. They're everybody's Super Bowl, Shador. And
they are. The Chiefs are, though.
Yeah, so I'm going to say the Chiefs are like an 11 win. Georgia's 12.
You know why? I think this is tight, but I think I would lean the Chiefs. I hope I'm wrong.
You know why the Chiefs are everybody's Super Bowl? Because here recently they've been the NFC champions Super Bowl. That's how you become everybody's Super Bowl.
Second down.
Who's at their current job longer, Kirby Smart or Sherrone Moore at Michigan?
The only thing you factor in here is how much does Kirby Smart want to keep coaching and how long he'll do that, because you get life-changing money now as a football coach. I don't know if Kirby has one of those deals where if you make it a certain number of years, they throw an extra $5 million
longevity bonus
in your bank account. I have a feeling that Kirby still is going to outlast Sherrone Moore.
Yeah, the thing with Moore, and I don't know if you guys agree, I think Michigan fans are fat and happy right now, 15-0 national championship. I think they appreciate Moore being the interim coach and winning some of those tight games last year. But if they were to drop an 8-4 and 8-4, what happens?
I think they change.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's highly possible.
Because what 8-4 isn't anymore is a decent bowl game. What 8-4 is now you've missed the playoffs.
That's right.
We forget bowl games.
Might be a decent bowl game, but it's a decent bowl game not in the playoffs.
We're just now. It's like the NCAA tournament. Are you in or are you out?
That's what's going to be interesting. Yeah, it's how that is viewed for Michigan. And you're right. If it's back-to-back 8-4s, I have now developed somewhat of a caviar taste, and you're not giving me caviar anymore.
I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm not in the playoffs.
I think the safer bet here would be Kirby. I would just worry about early retirement, like Kirby saying, "I've made a ton of money, and I just don't like the way the sport's going." That'd be my biggest concern about Kirby.
Third down.
More total touchdowns this year, Carson Beck or Will Howard?
I would go Will Howard.
Both the focus is going to be running the football, as good as Beck can be.
It's so funny. Will Howard came up. We had him a soundbite on yesterday, but you had made the point when we were talking Kansas State in our 40 and 40 countdown that the better quarterback stayed behind in Manhattan. Chris Budden was on with Dusty and Danny this morning after she was at Big 12 Media Day. And she said, in talking to Chris Kleiman said, I was just wanting to be honest with Will Howard. I told him, if you come back, it's Avery's job. and you're going to be our backup
So
quarterback.
they literally think he's the best quarterback.
Chris Kleiman told him
And I think Venables had that conversation with Dylan Gabriel, who, by the way, is your Heisman favorite now.
Yeah, it
to
changed
ship
yesterday.
off the Heisman favorite to say, we're going to give this kid a start in the SEC as a true freshman.
Yeah, because the betting odds changed yesterday, right?
Or
Dylan
a
Gabriel,
redshirt freshman.
Dylan Gabriel
Yeah.
became the betting
Yeah.
favorite
Yeah.
yesterday to win the Heisman. But she said Chris Kleiman he's very honest with Will Howard, who's now going to be the starting quarterback at a national champion favorite. And he was told, you're not going to be the starting quarterback in Manhattan.
That's why I said yesterday when we were previewing the Buckeyes that I think it's a win-win. Like, I think Ohio State gets a really good quarterback that the moment won't be too big, and I think he's got a ton of experience, or he has a ton of experience. And on the other side, Kansas State's got a quarterback that's got so much upside, so I think it's a win-win.
Yeah, I'm gonna go more touchdowns than Carson Beck. I've got a feeling that this Will Howard thing's not going to work out, and they're going to go to their
Devin
Brown plan here.
I think I would go Carson Beck.
4th down.
Better chance of happening, Georgia, another undefeated season, or I'll give you the combination of one of these two teams making the college football playoff. The USC Trojans or the Auburn Tigers.
So better chance Georgia goes undefeated regular season?
Yep, or one of those two teams gets in the playoff.
I would take Georgia undefeated regular season.
I would go the other way.
I think I would too.
Sneaky.
You'd go USC and Auburn.
Sneaky either USC or Auburn.
Yeah, because if Auburn or USC wins 10 games, and I do think with their head coaches and with what they've got roster-wise, I think they could sneak in. I don't see it happening, but I don't see Georgia with that schedule going undefeated for 4 consecutive years.
And what we don't factor in, and I've said this a couple of times on some other shows, and I think I've said it here too, I believe the SEC and the Big Ten are going to have 3 spots regardless.
I would agree with that.
3 spots regardless. Yeah. And then and maybe 4 each or whatever it shakes out, but 3 regardless. And we haven't taken into consideration that the Big Ten or the SEC, but specifically the Big Ten, could be, after you do Ohio State and Oregon, could have some casualties to where USC could end up being 9-3, Iowa could be 9-3, Penn State could be 9-3, and USC gets in.
Well, I think that is kind of the line, 9-3, 10-2.
Right.
But I believe, like, if I'm a head coach, my mentality in the Big Ten and the SEC, if I can win 10 games in the regular season, we will be there.
That's right. I think mathematics, 10 you're in, 9-3, you're going to need some help. But I think the Big Ten will have 3 and the SEC will have 3.
I agree.
So 9-3 USC over a 10-2 ACC or Big 12.
Yeah.
I'm going to go USC or Auburn sneaking in.
5th down.
Very good, Tyler.
That's it.
Very good.
Yeah.
Today, which is, what is today, July 12th?
That is it.
It's National French Fry Day.
It snuck
If
up on
I
me.
asked you, because we have so many great sponsors that have so many good fries, but if I asked you, best French fry you've ever had out of town, out of the state of Alabama?
Rodeo Goats are pretty good. We know their burgers well. Their
Well,
fries
you guys
are
can
good
think
too.
on this because mine is different. This place has been closed down, but it was my first job when I lived in Los Angeles. It was a place called Mainline Brewery, and Jim Farmer, the ex-Alabama great, was one of the owners there.
So random.
But they had a thing called Dragon Fries, and I remember we met this producer one of the first days we were in L.A., and went and had lunch, and he's like, you got to have the Dragon Fries.
Were they hot?
Yeah.
Dragon?
So it was a big pile of fries, and it had like this really, really spicy Thousand Island sauce with like this shredded queso fresco.
Oh, wow.
And you ate them with a fork. They were fantastic.
I mean, as you guys know, I have come around. I think my initial stance on In-N-Out Burger was a bit misrepresented, but I have come around on it even from that initial stance. I will admit that. Their fries are very good.
They are.
They have excellent fries.
The product's actually good, too. I've come around on In-N-Out, too.
Yeah, I mean,
I think I went to better In-N-Out burgers.
Maybe so. I ate one in San Antonio just a couple of weeks ago. They're very consistent product.
You'll love this. I was talking to a former undercover cop this past weekend.
Yes, with Khaleesi
We
and the
went to
Oregon
all this,
cheerleader.
yeah. And-
Are you sure this wasn't a dream?
And no, it wasn't.
Was
It was
Jesus
a big,
driving?
very interesting party. But I asked the guy, he's retired now to Nashville, and I said, what do you miss most about California? He's like, really, the only thing I miss is In-N-Out.
I think they're coming to Nashville, though, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah, so he won't have to miss that long.
Yeah. In-N-Out burger animal style. He likes those. says Marquell over there. Paris for EVH93, one of our great female listeners, dipped in a mix of Dijon mustard and mayo. That sounds like something you'd love.
Like legitimately in the city of Paris?
Yeah. That's what she's saying.
Okay. I love mayonnaise on fries. We
those are legitimate French fries.
We learned that John Travolta in Pulp Fiction, he told us about mayo on fries over in Amsterdam.
Ugh.
Is that a European thing, do you think?
I guess. I do it.
There you go. That's our 4 downs today, brought to you by the great folks at Slice.
5 locations for you, from the Hot Mama to the Soul Pie to the Bajalia Special. You're going to love those specialty pizzas, local pizza, local ingredients. Get into one of those 5 locations today or slicebirmingham.com.
Shelley Duvall passed away yesterday, 75 years old. She was in The Shining, I see.
Yeah, she was nominated for a Razzie for Best Actress. I mean, really, I think it's an iconic movie. I think it's the best horror movie of all time. I thought it was directed brilliantly. She was awful, but you can kind of get past it the more and more you watch it. Would you agree, Tyler? I mean, she was so over the top.
Was great.
Oh,
so
wow.
Over the top.
She was being just berated by Stanley Kubrick behind the scenes for the entire production.
Oh, I
of
think
the
she
movie,
was
and
on
it comes across.
eggshells the entire time,
Yeah.
like scared to death of the presence of Stanley Kubrick.
I mean, imagine somebody screaming at you for 100 takes straight.
Now,
That's you and Dunaway every morning,
Now,
right?
you know, sometimes when you're going to cast a movie and you're like, who could play this part? The terrible movie that was Popeye with Robin Williams, she was the perfect olive oil.
That's right. I forgot she played that part.
Like that is one of the great, like just looking and saying, you know, book by cover, this is perfect.
That was one of those movies where you saw the trailer and you're like, there is no way that's good.
And her bio that I read, and it's only a snippet on my newsletter, it was the biggest gap between movies I'd ever seen. Shelley Duvall from The Shining and Popeye dies at the age of 75, and I was like, I had to reread it. I was like, The Shining and Popeye.
Yeah.
Those are her two. Those are her two.
A classic and Popeye.
Yeah. It was weird. Shelley Duvall passing at the age of 75. When we come back, I've got a 5-year window series of questions I want to ask these guys about the NFL. I had it for yesterday, brought it over to today. It's not necessarily 4 down style, but it's a little conversation. Who you'd rather be for the next 5 years, and who's your guy the next 5 years. All right, we'll do that NFL style when we come back. The show being brought to you by the wonderful folks at Woodhouse. Somewhere between mile 200 and 300 on my journey of riding in the truck, the girls started to discuss, man, if we finish this by 4, should we just go by Woodhouse and try to get this 323 driving miles out of our system? Woodhouse Day Spa, something E.G. and Taylor love.
Yeah, great place to go. Buy that gift of luxury from our friends at the Woodhouse Day Spa, located right there at the Summit Shopping Centers, right up Highway 280. Choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. Order that special person gift online 24/7, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. That's birmingham.woodhousespas.com, or just stop in, see Stuart and the great staff right there at the Summit Shopping Center and tell them the Next Round sent you.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemp Hill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention the Next Round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemp Hill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemp Hill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Our friends at Long Use Furniture believe in getting more style for less. Long Use offers a great selection of furniture for your living room, bedroom, dining room, home office, and entertainment room, helping you elevate your home design and decor. Long Use offers everything from vibrant outdoor furniture to breezy home accents. Everything you need to create your own sunshine sanctuary. Right now, you can save up to 10% store-wide, receive $300 in Long Use sleep credits with select mattress purchases, and access special financing on tons of hot buys. Take exit 280 off the I-65 Hallmark Farms exit today to see what Long Use has to offer you.
When on YouTube, you constantly hear requests to please like and subscribe. Well, here at Disrupt Media, we aren't going to play that game. Those demands are frankly outdated. So we just want you to hit like or subscribe. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure novel. Pick a path, hit like, or hit subscribe. It's your call. We don't care which, just pick one. Or go to Roll Tide Pods and do it. Or War Damn Pods. Or the Disrupt Media YouTube channel. Or the Meltdown. Just make a decision and stick with it. Like or subscribe, the choice is yours.
Mike Griffith coming up at the top of the hour. Hemphill Services bringing you part of the show today. Our friends at Hemphill Heating and Cooling, but don't forget plumbing too. It is hard to find a good plumber sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, trust the name Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there, 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train, hemphillservices.com.
I'm seeing on MLB Network on TV5 over here, Geddy Lee, who is famous rock star in what band?
Rush.
He's got an auction coming up in December, and he's on the MLB Network. I was like, what's going on? He's auctioning in his items. He's auctioning off the final out ball from each of Johnny Vandermeer's back-to-back no-hitters.
That's probably not going to move my needle there.
Then he's got Hank Aaron's jersey from when he hit the iconic home run.
Now that one's a little different.
Knew that he was a major baseball fan, because my older brother who's coming in town today, he's a huge music guy, but I think Rush is one of his top 2 or 3 bands of all time. I've never been a big Rush guy at all, but he actually went to one of their final shows in Vancouver. He's such a Rush fan.
So Rush doesn't do it anymore. They don't.
No, they retired.
Okay.
Would you?
Neil Peart died.
Yeah,
hard to do it then.
It is. The Hank Aaron jersey, knowing that you, oh wow, that's a photo of Geddy. I mean, how does Scott have this stuff?
He looks like a
Geddy
mix.
Lee's baseball
Would you
collection.
guys give me if you put John Lennon and Ozzy Osbourne together?
I can see that. You get Geddy Lee. Look at all those baseballs he's got.
Yeah, big baseball fan.
I like the display.
I do too.
Which you would think
That's
for a
room.
Canadian, he would be more of a hockey guy, right?
You'd think, wouldn't you?
Do you think it's fanboyish if I get like Nick Saban to autograph a picture? Because I used to do his show and he's not coaching anymore. I haven't done it. I never did it when he was coaching. Would it be too fanboyish to get it done now?
You're worried about being too fanboyish.
Yeah.
What would be wrong with that?
Yeah.
You're a fan.
How are you
fan.
going to get it done, though?
Are you a fan of Nick Saban?
Well, I mean,
Maxon?
We've got a relationship with his daughter now. We've got a relationship with Maxon. I'm occasionally on the campus.
That is the last thing I think you want to ask Kristen. Hey,
No, I will say this, though. Somebody, I was talking to somebody recently that is organizing an event for Nick Saban, and they were like, do you think, and I'm going to give you this compliment live on the show, and I forgot to give it to you. They're like, we're organizing this event, and Coach Saban is supposed to be speaking there. And we think he wants to be interviewed rather than speak. A lot of people are going to that because they give so many speeches, they're doing interviews now.
I'm at a Red Elephant Club, and that's what I'm doing with Antonio Lincoln when we get back from SEC Media Days.
You're going to interview Antonio?
Yep.
And the guy said, do you think Dunaway would be willing to do it? We're told Coach is very comfortable with Jim doing those interviews. He's done several of them. And I was like, 100% Dunaway would do it. All you do is just call him and tell him what day it is. He'll do it, I promise you. But that was, I think, quite a compliment to you that he said, Coach Saban's people tell us, if you're getting somebody, try Jim Dunaway. He's very comfortable with Jim. So I say that as a compliment to you, number one.
Oh, thank you.
Which you say I never do. And then number two, I would just do it at that event. Just have him to sign it there. Right there with him.
Hey, before we go out.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll be happy to do it.
If you'll sign here, here, and here. I was joking with Maggie. She was like, he's just going to put Nick Saban or Roll Tide Nick Saban. I said, no, he'll probably say, couldn't have done it without you, Jim. Roll Tide Nick Saban.
Thanks for all the championships.
She laughs. All right, so here we go. The show being brought to you. Oh, we already done that. It's our NFL stuff here. Here we go. Next 5 years. These are 5-year windows now. First of all, who do you want to be here? Which team do you want to be?
Okay.
You want to be the Bills or the Jets next 5 years?
I want to be the Bills. I know what quarterback situation is set.
Boy, I tell you what, though, you see a lot of our builds rebuilding talk right now.
I know, because you look at the pieces around him. But I think Josh Allen is good enough, and maybe this remotivates the Bills because there's a lot of people out there that believe the window has closed. Look, I think the Jets can be really good this year, but I could see this.
Years.
Yeah, this could be Aaron Rodgers' only year, and then you got to figure out quarterback after that. So I'm going to go Bills.
Now, I would say this. If Aaron Rodgers tears it up and I'm the Jets and I go to a couple Super Bowls in that 5 years, I'd rather have that 5 years than whatever the Bills are going to do probably. Because that's the unknown there, but I think I would go Bills in that situation.
I paired them up division-wise
right?
In this scenario that we're running through here. But, you know, I thought I'd got the feeling from you guys that you thought Josh Allen and maybe that window was closing.
I think it is. I really do. But I don't know that it's open for the Jets either, you know? I mean, do you think the Jets win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers there? I'd bet against that.
I'd bet against it, but they could be a sneaky team this year.
I think they're going to be good.
Browns or Steelers next 5 years? Who do you want to be?
I think the Steelers. I mean, they're consistently the better franchise, and I don't know what they're going to get out of Russell Wilson. I kind of agree with Lance that I think the change of scenery is going to be good for Justin Fields. I think it's going to be a better situation for him.
Yeah, look, and they don't have losing seasons under Mike Tomlin, and I think Mike Tomlin will probably be there another 5 years. I agree. You know, the Steelers have been an A organization. The Browns have been an F organization. I mean, if you just go the history of it. So, yeah, I would go Steelers, and I do like Justin Fields.
This one I can change. I was going to go Raiders, Chargers, but I went Broncos, Chargers because – you know, Sean Payton's building there. Jim Harbaugh is there. Chargers easy?
I think so. I mean, again, you've got Bo Nix might not even start.
Right. He might not.
Yeah. And what is that going to look like when Sean Payton is comparing this guy to Drew Brees, and then he doesn't start with all of the experience he's had?
He starts Jarrett Stidham.
I know Justin Herbert hasn't won in the postseason, but Justin Herbert is a really, really good quarterback. And I don't love Jim Harbaugh, but Jim Harbaugh wins. That's all he does. He won in the NFL with San Francisco. He's going to win again with the Chargers. Back to Ladd McConkey. I think he could be your surprise rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, I think I would probably go Chargers there just because of the unknown. I know the quarterback situation there. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Lance brought up the obvious problem with Justin Herbert is he's not winning the postseason. But I at least know the quarterback situation there, and boy, it is a complete unknown in Denver.
Okay, I'm going to ask you, Cowboys and Eagles, who do you want to be next 5 years? Cowboys and Eagles.
You know, this year is going to be fascinating because the Eagles were so good going to a Super Bowl. They start off the season 9-1 this year, and then Jalen Hurts just didn't play good football. And I wish I knew where I was on Jalen Hurts because I never thought he was going to be an impactful quarterback in the NFL, and then he really was 2 years ago. And you look at Dallas, Dak is going to be playing in his final year of a contract, playing for a contract. Like, it doesn't look like Dallas is going to pay him before the season, so he's going to go out and try to earn a massive contract. And I heard this earlier today, Jeff Darlington on ESPN, which I found really interesting. You think ESPN noticed on his home set behind him, he had a Peter Millar-like graphic, and then he had a Tom Ford book. So you think he went to Peter Millar and Tom Ford, hey, look, I'm about to do a hit in front of millions of people.
Listen, guys.
Let's get me a little bit of gear here.
Yeah, that's not the worst way to do it, by the way. Oh, is that Peter Millar thing up there? I did not notice. I am sorry, ESPN.
Yeah, but Darlington was talking about the Dallas Cowboys. They're going to have to pay him regardless. And the last time this happened, this kind of scenario, was Joe Flacco went out and won a Super Bowl. Now, I don't believe the Dallas Cowboys are going to win a Super Bowl, but boy, if they did, he would break the bank.
I brought this
With
up,
that said, I'm going to take Philadelphia.
Yeah, I brought this up the other day in a break. You know, I'm watching on one of the TVs here, and they're showing Dallas and their salary issues. I'm like, isn't that always Dallas' issue? It's like every year they've got a salary cap, but they have that long list of guys that they're going to have to pay at the end of the year. By the way, one of them was head coach Mike McCarthy. And I'm like, it seems like every single year.
49ers or Rams next 5 years? And I know you're a big Rams fan, but who would you rather be?
How much longer do we have with Matt Stafford? I still think you can make an argument Matt Stafford is the best, most talented quarterback in the NFC. But does he have a year or two? I think Sean McVay's going to be there, but Kyle Shanahan, to me, he's had McVay's number outside of that NFC Championship game. I think they're two of the best play callers out there. I am going to lean Rams just because of money.
Well, I think 49ers are 1 year away from having to change the business model, right? They're 1 year away from the Mr. Irrelevant draft pick that you don't have to pay anything to play quarterback. You're now going to have to pay him big money.
Making $1 million a year. Yep. I mean, what do you do? Brock Purdy, is he a $30, $40 million quarterback? I don't know. And the crazy thing, since the last time you saw San Francisco in 1995 win a Super Bowl, the Rams have won 2.
It's a great point. Great point. We'll do more of this coming up a little bit later on. The show being brought to you by our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. Greg from Pell City. You call this cell, this is his cell number. You call this number right now. You'll get Greg from Pell City on there, 205-542-3531. If he happens to be up on a roof and it's too risky to reach into his pocket, you may get his voicemail, but make sure you leave him a message there about getting that free no-cost roof inspection, 205-542-3531. Storm Restoration Roofing. Look him up on Facebook as well. Greg from Pell City there. Locally owned for over 20 years. Not a fly-by-night roofing company that comes in and out of town when there's storm damage. Keep the number on standby. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. And that roof inspection is absolutely free, so no out-of-pocket money, no obligation there. Just a great family-owned business for over 20 years. It is Storm Restoration Roofing. Greg from Pell City on Facebook. We're back in a moment on the next round.
Follow Rockstar on Twitter @RockstarBHM.
There is no better place to watch your favorite sporting events and enjoy great food than one of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons. The TVs are everywhere with your favorite sports, and the menu is second to none. From the great appetizers like the waffle cheese fries to the Avery Island salad, handhelds like the all-new chicken bomber, bistro specialties with a special taste of the bayou, the amazing hand-patty burgers, the great po' boys, and the specialty drinks. Visit any of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons: Greystone, Stadium Trace and Hoover, and the brand new location in Trussville.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Golf season is here, and if you're looking for a great golf course with affordable rates, you need to check out the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. Woodward Golf Club is a semi-private club with membership opportunities available, but is also open to the public. You can book tee times online at this hidden gem by going to golfwoodward.com. For only $195 per month, you can enjoy unlimited golf 7 days a week. Membership includes discounted cart fees, unlimited range balls, and the use of our practice facilities. For more information on memberships and the course, check us out online at golfwoodward.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation, 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you, 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
For a great experience in golf, go to Bent Brook, just off I-459 in the Birmingham area. You've got 27 holes where you can play your 18 holes 6 different ways. Open 7 days a week with 5 sets of tees that makes golf enjoyable for any level golfer. You get complimentary GPS on every golf cart, and the AU Victory bent grass greens play as pure as any in the area. Bent Brook continues to improve with upgraded greens and redesigned holes. Book that next tee time right now. BentBrook.com. BentBrook.com.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trustful. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
All right, we'll continue our NFL conversation. More college football. Mike Griffith scheduled to be with us at the top of the hour. We'll be talking Georgia #1 in the largest fan poll in college football. 94 of you voted, and we've counted them down. So Georgia's #1, and we'll talk to Mike Griffith at the top of the hour. Always an entertaining guy. NFL conversation continues, brought to you by our friends at HydroLive. Good time to swing by there as the heat index kicks back over triple digits this weekend.
Yeah, I meant to get our friends from HydroLive up here to get us all hydrated before we head to Dallas. But look, if you've got a big weekend, whether it's going to be on the golf course or just going out with friends, make sure you stop in to one of those 3 great locations of HydroLive Therapy. There are 2 right here in Birmingham, the original in Homewood, Highway 119 in Greystone, also Tuscaloosa. Very important. You mentioned the next round, you're going to get 20% off any of those great services from IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, all under one roof. IV therapy treatments packed with nutrients to increase energy, reduce stress and anxiety, boost that immune system, and much more. Ask about memberships as well. 3 locations. For more information, hydrolivetherapy.com.
I've got some other things to get to in baseball from last night and some more college football. But just to finish the 5-year window NFL conversation, away from the teams now, which one of these players would you rather have in the next 5 years? Now, you're the GM, you're the coach of an organization. Would you rather have Tua or Jared Goff next 5 years?
I would rather have Jared Goff. Jared Goff has hurt his thumb one time. He's very durable. You think about the last 4 years, or 4 years of the last 6 years, he's been really good. He was lights out last year. I'd rather have Goff. He's more proven. He's been to a Super Bowl. He's been to 2 NFC championship games.
Yep, he's definitely more proven. He's proven to be more durable. I would rather have Miami's offense. And
that's not what I'm asking, though.
I know you're not. So I'd go Goff. Goff is the more proven quarterback. If you drop Goff in Miami's offense, it would not miss a beat.
Nope.
I guess everyone's too young to remember, but I'm doing the old IROC version here. These guys in the same type 10 other players around them. Identical 10 players around him. Which would you rather have? Goff seems to be the answer. Dak Prescott or Josh Allen?
Oh, Josh Allen.
5-year window. Josh Allen over Dak.
Mm-hmm. Not Josh Allen, the linebacker, right? Josh Allen, the quarterback.
Josh Allen, the linebacker's got a hyphen now.
Yeah. He does not want to be confused with Josh Allen, the quarterback anymore, does he? I would go Josh Allen.
I was really quick. No love for Dak. Hail State.
Well, it's not no love for Dak. I just think Allen's obviously the better quarterback.
So I paired him with somebody too big.
Well, if you boil everything down, what has Allen got done in his career that Dak hasn't?
He's won more playoff games, but not much more.
But not a whole lot to show for that, right? I mean, you got some playoff wins, but that's about it.
So trying to find a match for Dak, if I went Dak Tua, though, Tua would blow him out of the water, right?
I'd go Tua over Dak.
I think I might go Dak. No offense, I think Tua's really good.
No, I'd go Tua over Dak, but it makes me think more. Yes.
Okay. So I did a bad job of pairing here.
We're used to it.
Jordan Love and C.J. Stroud. Next 5 years, which one? These guys are going to be in the league a lot longer than 5 years.
Which one?
Well, I wish I had seen more C.J. Stroud. I guess I wish I'd seen more Jordan Love too. I mean, Stroud has got I think he's set up for more success with the offense around him. The players they've got around him. Now, I'm assuming Nico Collins continues to be what Nico Collins was last year.
Tank Dell. I believe more in the Green Bay product year in, year out.
I would agree with that.
I would rather have DeMeco Ryans than Matt LaFleur, though. I think I'm going to go C.J. Stroud, but I love both. If I was any organization out there, I would take either one of those quarterbacks right now.
You've never been a huge Matt LaFleur guy, even though he came from your Rams. Right. But just 1 year of DeMeco as a head coach, and it looked really, really good. I'm not going to lie. It looked good.
Great. Look great.
I've seen a lot of Matt LaFleur.
Next 5 years only now, but age does factor in sometimes. Tyreek Hill or CeeDee Lamb?
I'd go Hill. I mean, I think Hill can play 5 more years. I don't know if he will. But if you told me both of them played 5 more years, I'd take Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I think I would go Hill.
Yeah.
Jordan Jefferson or Jamar Chase?
I think I'd go Jordan Jefferson. I mean, Jamar Chase has played with an elite quarterback. Jordan Jefferson played with a really solid quarterback in Kirk Cousins. And first of all, Jamar Chase is great. Might end up being a Hall of Fame guy. I know Jordan Jefferson, if he doesn't get hurt, will be a Hall of Fame. Justin Jefferson will be a Hall of Fame guy.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson.
That's what I'm.
Yeah,
my bad.
Justin Jefferson. It's easy to do. Both LSU guys.
Yeah.
One a fantastic NFL player. One Jordan Jefferson.
Yeah.
I think I'd go Justin Jefferson here.
Yeah.
I'm with Lance. I mean, the guy has borderline been the best receiver in the NFL with Kirk Cousins.
Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown? 5 years.
Think I would go Devontae.
Devontae's got
done more.
Yeah, more tread on the tires with Devontae, though. I mean, A.J., he's not an old man, but he's older than Devontae.
Yeah, you're saying more tread
On the tires for Devontae, yeah. Tires aren't as worn down is a better way of saying it.
And I don't think we've seen Devontae Smith's best yet.
I was about
don't
to say
think
that.
so.
First of all, get him away from A.J. Brown. If A.J.'s not there, Devontae becomes more focused on offense and maybe a more consistent passer. Like if you had Devontae with Goff or, the elite of the elite quarterbacks, Mahomes, what could Devontae do? I think Devontae's pretty good. Last one, I gave you, if you can look under there, you've got some rain gear to put on in case LT's head explodes here.
It's like a Gallagher show.
I
gotta put on a poncho.
Puka or Cup next 5 years?
Wow, Lance, that's like picking kids.
I'd take, Cup's been injured too. Both are really injury prone. Puka was able to battle through and not miss any games last year. I've seen the Vegas numbers. Puka is actually expected to have more receiving yards, more receptions, more touchdowns. I think Cooper Kupp's going to have a big-time bounce-back year. With all that said, Puka's younger. I would take Puka.
I think I would go with the youth, too. I think I would take Puka. I think you're fine with either one of them. They're both really, really good.
I had a note here that says, ask which is a tougher comparison, Puka and Cup or Chili and Bullet. If you had to choose next 5 years.
Puka and Cup's much tougher. I would definitely take Bullet over Chili.
Bullet over next 5 years.
I hope Chili's not
Chili
listening
does
to
not
this.
listen at all.
Yeah. Including to this show?
Yeah, I was going to have another point on
Puka.
Oh, yeah. So I did hear that the Rams 100% were baffled that Antonio Pierce took Brock Bowers. The Rams are going to take Bowers.
Were they?
And that offense,
that
oh my God,
yeah.
the offense, if Stafford stayed healthy and Kupp and Puka stay healthy with Bowers, I don't know how you stop that offense.
By the way, the Titans did pick up Jamal Adams yesterday, only 28. He's battled some serious injuries the last few years, but a one-time Pro Bowler and one time the highest paid safety in the NFL.
Boy, at the height of his game, he was amazing.
Oh, I think he went number 3 or number 4 overall for the Jets out of LSU.
Yep. So he is now a Tennessee Titan as he tries to get healthy and get better there. And if you think you're going to be tired of somebody soon, Bill Belichick. How old's his girlfriend again?
24, was it?
Oh,
the cheerleader?
Little Tino. She sent me some pictures the other day.
I think it is 24.
Might be 24.
Yeah, I think that's the number I remember.
I think she might have been feeding him ice cream.
And he's 71.
Wiping his mouth for it.
He's 71?
Sure.
71, 24?
I'll take that.
I thought he was the same age as Saban, so I thought he's 72, 73.
Yeah.
So who am I getting tired of, the girlfriend or Bill Belichick?
Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
He's going to be putting together W-2s this year. He's now part of Inside the NFL, which I think is on HBO.
Yeah,
right?
I hadn't watched that show in quite a while. So
he's going to be a regular on the Pat McAfee show getting paid and a regular on the Manning cast. So he's going to be everywhere in the NFL season coming up.
I will be interested in watching him on the Manning cast. What are you laughing at?
I'm just looking at this picture, and I'll send it to Scott.
She's feeding
but
him ice cream?
he gives no Fs. Like
really
you can
doesn't.
see in his T-shirt, like the hole. Oh, there it is.
Is that the photo?
You see the hole where his belly button is, and then he's just got man tits.
and do we have confirmation on her age? Can someone find out her age real quick?
Yes, I can.
Because it is 20s at least, but I 24 to 26, and he's 71.
I think it's. I thought it was 72 to 25, but
yeah,
he's 72. I have confirmed that. Girlfriend. Bill Belichick girlfriend.
I can't throw rocks here.
No, you cannot, Lance. It's not quite the gap, but you've got a gap.
Belichick and I have the same body.
And by the way, I don't have Belichick's money at all.
24. Jordan Hudson is aged 24. Now, I'm telling
if he
you,
didn't have money, there is zero chance.
Just in this photo, and it's in this same set of photos that Scott has got right here, she's riding a bike with him. And her
Does
riding
she have training wheels?
No, but her riding a bike with him makes her look much older, actually. Like, I would not... Like, I mean, you see that photo. Would you automatically say she's 24 in that photo?
I would say that she's
35?
38.
Yeah, 38.
Yeah.
But it's because she's riding a bike with an old
normally
man.
the younger girl makes the older guy look a little younger, but in this case, he makes her look older.
I can see that.
He really does. He does make her look older. Now,
do I do that for Maggie? Do I make Maggie look older?
You do, a little bit.
Yeah, sad for Maggie.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Happy birthday tomorrow, Maggie.
Speaking of older.
Yeah.
I mean, good for them. I hope they are extremely happy, both of them. I do not wish unhappiness on anyone other than Bills.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch Game of Thrones or House of the Dragons, then age doesn't matter when it comes to marriage. Love is what it's all about.
This is, I know it's taboo where we are here in the South, and there are a lot of people that...
There's the photo I said that makes her look older, Dunaway. Just because she does not look 24 in that photo because she's riding a bike with an old man.
The stereotypical older man, younger woman. A lot of people hate that cliche.
Yeah.
In California, this is so normal.
Yeah. I heard a phrase, and you guys may have never heard this phrase from my daughter. If the grades don't touch, you shouldn't either in high school. Have you ever heard that phrase?
I have not.
Yeah,
I've
so
never
like
heard that
6th to 8th grade, 9th to 12th grade.
If the grades don't touch, you shouldn't either.
Yeah.
Now, I've heard, God, what is the formula? It's...
That came up because...
Half your age plus 7,
That's
is that
it.
what you're talking about?
Half your age plus 7. So let me do the quick math real quick.
Let's see if you qualify.
I do not. I am out of the range.
Ooh, but just barely.
I mean...
Yeah, just barely.
Is that barely?
Yeah.
Closer than Bill Belichick.
Yeah, I like it. What is Belichick? So wait, 72 to 24.
You get multiplication involved with Belichick.
I'm going to need the amortization table.
36 plus 7, did you say?
Half the age plus 7.
Yeah, half the age plus 7.
Damn, so he can go 43, which would have seemed like a deep dive for him. And he went
Instead-
20 years younger.
Instead, he said, no, I'm going to do a double flip and a gainer off the board.
Yeah.
My deep dive is to 24. Good for him. I hope they're happy, man.
Like,
I mean,
that's me, man. I just want people to be happy.
Yeah.
You stay in your lane. You don't affect my life. As long as you're happy, whatever you're doing, what's the big deal?
So that's a little conversation about the National Football League today, being brought to you by our wonderful friend, Dr. B, who has got LT's hair looking like he could do the half his age plus 7. No problem at all.
Dude, Greg from the top rope on you, by the way.
On who?
On you.
he said you make me and LT look older.
Greg from Pell City.
Former friend, right?
Yeah.
Former friend. A good friend is Dr. Beckenstein, best in the business. Not only helping me out right now, he's helping Brown out.
That's right.
We're doing that non-invasive treatment 3 times each week, 30 minutes each time. That is it. My hair has more than doubled in thickness. I let it outside of the hat today. For more information, t3hair.net. Remember, Dr. B offering Sensus Transdermal Infuser. This enables Dr. B to get various medicines and therapies into the scalp where the hair follicles are without using any injections. This is revolutionary as Dr. B can pinpoint delivery of a patient's genetically specific products without any needles. Call today, schedule a consultation, tell them the next round sent you, 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
We'll talk to Mike Griffith up next, right here on the next round, as Georgia's our number 1 team in our 40 and 40 countdown.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at scottforestertv.
This hour of the next round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Most successful coach in the SEC this year, top quarterback returning in the SEC this year, and maybe their toughest schedule in the regular season in a long, long time. It did not sway 94 of us, 94 of the viewers, for all total making Georgia number one. 69 of the 94 gave their Dogs their number one spot in our 40 and 40 countdown.
Mike Griffith on the show often. You see him on the SEC Network, Dog Nation, part of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, the AJC, at Mike Griffith 32 on Twitter. He's with us now on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. What is up, Mike? How are you?
Getting ready for SEC Media Days, guys. Looks like it's going to be a show in Texas. Seems like it's all about Texas now.
I've had so many people be like, don't tell me they're going to bow down to Texas like the Big 12 did. The first year they've got this thing in Dallas. I'm like, just tap the brakes. They threw them a bone, right?
Well, I think if you look at the schedule, you see they threw them a bone there, too. I mean, I think Texas has got it pretty good, but they do have to get through the SEC on a week-to-week basis, and this isn't the Big 12, and I think Texas had better be careful what they're wishing for. There's a lot of crowing and confidence coming out of Austin so far.
But I'll tell you, Mike, if Texas is 6-0 hosting Georgia on October 19th, and they've gone to the Big House and won, and they've beaten Oklahoma, as much as SEC fans hate Georgia right now, I think SEC fans are pulling for Georgia in that game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, and you just said it. They got to play Oklahoma the week before. Now, I'll say this. I don't think we've given Alabama enough credit for playing Auburn the week before the SEC championship game and being able to win those games. I mean, that's not easy to do when you play a rivalry game the week before another big game. Listen, if Texas can walk through an undefeated record and beat Oklahoma and then beat Georgia, I'll tip my cap and I'll eat my crow. But I think this sets up for Georgia really well, provided that Carson Beck stays healthy.
Speaking of Carson Beck, man, everyone is just raving about this guy, even at the NFL level. What is Georgia getting back in Carson Beck, in your opinion? And does he compare with the Matt Staffords and all the great quarterbacks that have run through when he's done in Georgia?
Well, Matt Stafford wasn't the Matt Staffords we see now at Georgia. You can go back and look at his completion percentage and his numbers, and they were nothing to write home about. Obviously, he was an incredible talent. He was the number 1 overall pick, and he was a 5-star recruit. I think Carson in year 2 is ready for this. And what they have an NFL quarterback. I mean, Carson Beck got literally millions of dollars to come back. He is the poster boy for NIL bonus babies. He was the guy Georgia had to get. It helped them lure Trevor Etienne, who I think is going to be an amazing X factor for Georgia. And I think Carson could be competing for the starting job with the Denver Broncos right now, had he not gotten a few million, that matched what a late first-round pick would have gotten. And listen, this is the new college football. You're negotiating to get guys back for another year, and you're selling them on the potential to gain draft value. Do you want to be a late first-round pick? I think they used Will Levis as the comp for Carson in some of the negotiations. And maybe you come back and you're number 1, and then you say, okay, well, then it's worth those millions of dollars. You've got an insurance policy. You've got unfinished, but you need to get better. Carson needs to get better. You saw that. But he's got a lot of talent. He's got all the tools. He had 3 years. He's on the bench. He kind of shook the rust off last year. And he's in year 2 with the same coordinator, which is huge. Just look at 2022 Georgia. This is a great example. I don't think enough people talk about this. Georgia lost more talent off the 2021 team than any team in history. And I know that sounds like just a very vague statement, but consider they had 15 guys drafted off of the 2021 team. That's an NFL record. Plus, back in the day, you didn't have this. They had 13 guys from the 2 deep that were in the 2 deep at some point leave via the portal. And 4 of those guys had started at some point. So you could say this is the biggest loss of talent ever. There's just not another time. And what did they do? They came back and they went undefeated and ran the table in 2022. I mean, that's remarkable.
Mike Griffith with us covers the Georgia Bulldogs for Dog Nation, part of the AJC. You see him on the SEC Network as well. He is with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. I want to pick a piece out of what you just said right there, though, and ask you this, because it's not the singular reason that Nick Saban retired, but I do think it contributed to his decision to retire. How comfortable is Kirby Smart with having to scratch up out of the NIL funds a few $1 million for his quarterback to come back? Is he comfortable doing that?
Well, I don't know if Kirby and comfortable are ever in the same sentence. His saying here is you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable, and that's kind of the way of life at Georgia. Look, it's competitive. Georgia doesn't have the most NIL. Alabama doesn't have the most. Nobody has the kind of money, I don't think, that Texas and Oklahoma have. I think those are the programs right now. I think Tennessee is doing a good job with NIL. But there's the Kirby discount, right? What he can sell is say, look, maybe you get a few $100,000 somewhere else now, but you come to Georgia, you get developed, look at all the NFL players, look at the talent that you practice again. Case in point, Amarius Mims. I mean, here's a guy that only started 8 games in his career, and he's a first-round pick. And Kirby made the point, would you rather have a guy that started 8 games at Georgia over 3 years and practices against other number 1 or number 2 or third-round picks every single day, or someone from a lesser school that doesn't face that competition on a daily basis, doesn't have that level of coaching, doesn't play an SEC schedule? So kids have to decide if they need the money now, excuse me, or if they want to try to get the money later by being developed into a higher draft pick.
Urban Meyer had hard-hitting felons when he won championships. Kirby Smart's got like extras from the Fast and Furious. What is going on with everything? I mean, I said this yesterday, Mike. I truly believe with the funds Georgia has, give everybody Uber money. Literally, there is no reason to drive around Athens. You guys, at your liberty, can go anywhere you want on our Uber fund. It would make much more sense to me.
Well, it's not a matter that they don't have alternative transportation. I think you nailed it, though, with money and NIL and explosive, fast horsepower cars. They're everywhere. And you mix that with youth and confidence and stupidity and immaturity. And, I'm not going to, the reality of it is I think this is happening tragically has happened recently with other former SEC players. It's an ongoing problem. Georgia's been very proactive. I'm writing a story right now about all the things that they put in place. I mean, they had that horrible tragedy with Devin Willock dying 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, hit the program very hard. And yet we're still having stupid incidents like this. Now, you can say a 75 and a 45. I don't know. I think we're splitting hairs. The point is, it's not sinking in that this is not a smart thing to do. But you put young guys in fast cars, whether it's football, basketball, anywhere, any college student. And unfortunately, I think it's a recipe for potential, incidents like this. And again, I don't think it's necessarily that Georgia goes out and recruits these wild guys. I don't think, talking to these guys, they don't strike me in the same light that, when you talk about Urban Meyer, I think we're talking about another level. I think we're talking about a murder, or at least an alleged murder that was on that team. I don't sense that here. But the guys got fast cars in the parking lot. Yeah. Have they had some offenses of late? Yeah. I think there's been 2 or 3 in the last month. I think maybe 4 or 5 players have been involved since January. But prior to that, it seemed like the storm had passed. But here we are again, 1 week before media days. And now Kirby Smart's got a talking point that I'm pretty sure he's probably not looking forward to.
I think you're old enough to remember when Steve Spurrier used to say he would not be an old coach. And then he coached very deep into his life. Nick Saban coached into his 70s. I don't know if Nick ever said that. Every time we're around Kirby, he gives me the vibes, I'm not going to be an old coach. I'm going to do this for a set number of years, and then I'm going to get out. Do you think Kirby really could ever walk away before he's into his 60s and 70s?
Yeah, Saban, you got to put in a category of his. I'm not sure he's done yet. Honestly, I really am not. I
say that too.
He's unbelievable. He's the greatest coach of our lifetime, and he loves to compete. And I'll be interested to see if given analysis will be enough to scratch that itch for him, because this is a guy that you could put somewhere with the right NIL funds that could win another national championship before it's all said and done. He takes very good care of himself. Kirby's in a little different situation. He's got kids. He's got a 7th grade son who's a really good athlete. And part of me wonders, when Andrew gets to be a senior or a junior or maybe a collegiate player, we recently saw Will Muschamp take a half step back from his co-defensive coordinator duties into more of an analyst role so he could watch one of his sons play college football. It's not going to be about money. Kirby's making $13 million a year. It's hard to know what the circumstances will be then. It's hard to know what effect this level of roster management will take. He's got good coaches in place. Obviously, he's got a good system in place, but the recruiting calendar is relentless. Saban saw the forest for the trees long ago. I don't know. I can't speak for Kirby, but Spurrier was at Florida 12 years. I think Kirby's going into year 9 now. I wonder, if I had an over-under on Kirby, I'd probably put it at 6 years.
That's
not that long.
That's 2 more national championships. Yeah. Probably, really.
Yeah, but it does not last forever. I think Georgia fans, they're living a charmed life right now, Mike. But fans in this state now, or some of the fans of this state, are realizing, hey, that does not last forever now. Maybe Kalen DeBoer can keep it going. You don't know, but there's a shelf life on these guys.
Well, we'll find out on September 28th. I was really impressed with DeBoer down there at the spring meetings and, making the changes and an exuberant, Jalen Milroe. What could that mean? Could I don't want to call it a breath of fresh air, because Nick Saban was about as good as the air gets when it comes to coaching, but could a different style, provide, some energy? I guess, I don't know how many people are old enough to remember Terry Bowden taking over at Auburn for Pat Dye, but that was an Auburn program that was on probation, that had been 5-1 and 5-6 the previous 2 years. And, Terry came in spewing, attitude and awesome and positivity. And somehow that Auburn team went 11-0 with the same group of players, that playing in a difference. Sometimes new can help. I'm not convinced yet, and we'll see, that Kalen DeBoer could sustain with that sort of management in the SEC with the sort of players, but he did a fantastic job at Washington. He did an unbelievable job with Michael Penix. And I followed Michael closely from his recruitment. I think Jalen Milroe is every bit as talented. I think he's a Heisman candidate. I think he's amazing. And if DeBoer strikes the right chord with Milroe, you could be getting some Cam Newton vibes here. So I'm not ready to write it off. Also, when I look at Alabama last year, I thought they got off to a terrible start. I just can't get on this bandwagon that this was Nick Saban's greatest coaching job. I know that's a convenient narrative, but it really wasn't. When you've got to bench your starting quarterback that early in the season and the offense is, in shambles, and you lose by 10 points at home to a Texas team, then you probably beat 7 out of 10 times. That's not one of Nick's best jobs. That's doing Nick a disservice to say that. Who's to say that Kalen DeBoer can't do a better job early this season than Nick did last year?
Mike, people will think this is a ridiculous question, but more impressive for Kirby Smart, the 2 national championships, or the fact that he's won 3 consecutive undefeated regular seasons.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing when you play in the SEC. You got to go back to the 2020 Florida game. And of course, they had some, 2 of their best players had gotten injured the week before. And Kyle Trask was on fire, played extremely well. The backup safety couldn't handle the wheel route. They were missing Richard LeCount, a preseason All-American. It was bad timing. Again, injuries are everything in this league, right? We can go back to 2021 Bama, and, they beat Georgia, and then they lose, without, some of their elite receivers. I think injuries are really everything. And I think that Georgia winning 3 straight regular seasons undefeated is probably a bigger accomplishment because you have that margin for error. Just get in the playoff, right? That was a 1-loss Georgia team that got to rematch Alabama, right? In the old system, the old BCS days, they're done. It's over, right? In the old days, 2017, Alabama doesn't win a title, much less, in a playoff because they didn't even play in the SEC title game. The playoff gives everybody a mulligan. And so I'm going to go with the 3 state undefeated regular seasons. Off the top of my head, I don't know what was the last program to do that. Maybe Nebraska in the 90s. I mean, in a Big 12 that wasn't anything like the depth of talent that we see in the SEC, much less than on-conference schedule. You throw in the Clemsons and the Oregons that George has played in that. I think the most impressive thing is the 29-game win streak over 3 seasons. I mean, that's better than Bear Bryant. That's better than Nick Saban. That's better than Steve Spurrier in an era where college football has more parity than ever because of the transfer portal. So to me, the 29-game SEC record win streak is probably the crowning achievement. The 3 straight regular seasons is very impressive as well. And back-to-back titles, I mean, I think they're the only team in the college football 14 playoff era to do that. So a lot of feathers in Kirby's cap. But listen, all that's off the table. That doesn't matter. Right now, the pressure is for Georgia back on. I mean, you've got the leading returning passer in the country. He's the Heisman Trophy favorite. He's a projected number 1 overall pick, and he's the quarterback of the number 1 team. I don't know the last time we saw a quarterback that had all those accolades going into one season.
He is Mike Griffith. You can follow him for more Georgia and SEC at Mike Griffith 32, Dog Nation, part of AJC, and he is also on the SEC Network often. Michael, thank you very much for the time. Great. I don't know why I went so formal with Michael. I did not mean to do that, Mike. Thank you very much for the time. We'll see you in Dallas.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
All right, take care. James, that was Michael Griffith of the of the Dog Nation. He was with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
And the show being brought to you in part by our friends at Inverness Country Club. We had a friend recently just signed up for membership.
Yeah, look, there are memberships that fit everyone from the social, including that resort-style pool complex, full-service cabana and bar, live music on Friday nights, Sunday brunch, the golf package, beautiful course, currently expanding the driving range. Maybe you travel for work or pleasure. Ask about the Heritage Plus option where you have access to courses at 37 other clubs around the country. Whether you're relocated or retired, Inverness, great place to network. Childcare, also a big plus. You and your wife want a day of golf or tennis, guess what? You can drop the kid and go have yourself a day on the court or course. Whatever your interests are, you can find it at Inverness. They even have a vineyard club. Take a tour of this incredible club today. Call Aaron, 205-991-8608. That's 205-991-8608. Make sure you tell her the next round sent you. For more information, ICCalabama.com.
Hey, the Celebrity All-Star Game at Globe Life is going to include Deion Sanders now. He's signed on to play in that part of the All-Star weekend.
He doesn't run very well, so I guess.
Texas.
Doesn't have a foot, right?
Yeah. He's got half a foot, I think.
Yeah, but even if you'll remember.
Or some missing toes.
What game was it?
So he ain't going to be stealing a base.
It was the Nebraska game where he had to leave the field early because they were going to rush the field. You remember that? And just to be safe. So,
Paul Skenes last night. It's official now, by the way. Paul Skenes was doing an interview with on God.
MLB Network.
No, my favorite is SportsCenter host, Dan Patrick, on Dan Patrick's show earlier.
Wow.
Yeah, on Dan Patrick's show earlier, Skenes was doing an interview after going 7 no-hit innings last night and got pulled because of pitch count. He's unbeaten. He's 6-0. His ERA is still under 2. And the guy who's managing the National League calls up Dan Patrick and lets Skenes know live on the air, you're going to be the starting pitcher.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And
Yeah.
he should be. He is, I don't want to say unhittable, but his ERA sub 2 now. He's 6-0. Another incredible outing. I know it's been very controversial whether or not they should have pulled him after 99 pitches. I don't know what to say about that because we saw guys back in the day that were throwing, 150 pitches. There wasn't a pitch count. But these hard throwers with this torque on the arm now, we had Buster talking about Steven Strasburg, who ended up having a great career. But can you imagine without injuries how great Steven Strasburg was?
I saw a quote from the skipper down on the MLB Network earlier, and he said it had zero to do with pitch count. He was like, he was tired in the 6th, and we really thought about pulling him then, and we were certain we were going to do it after the 7th. He was tired. It had nothing to do with pitch count. It was just reading his body and knowing he was tired. If that's him tired, I can't imagine.
But Buster brought this up, and I do think Pittsburgh's one of these sleepy teams with their rotation now. They can sneak back in this, and they almost blew that game when they pulled him. The Brewers ended up loading that thing up, and can you imagine having that kind of outing and ended up losing that game 2-1?
Would be horrible, or it'd be like being Max Fried with the Braves, who never gets any run support, it seems. They lose last night 1-0. Fried goes 1 run is all he gives up, 6 hits, and they can't win. Getting no run support there. Braves in San Diego now. More about the Braves in Major League Baseball on our podcast. That is the Pennant Grace with Emily Grace McWhorter and Josh Sisk. You can talk to Ush and them every Monday and Thursday in their chat room when they go live. We'll do more college football coming up. But right now, JD is in Huntsville. He is up next with us. JD up in the Rocket City. What's up, man? How are you?
Hey, guys. Doing great. Y'all having a good summer?
Fantastic.
So
Going too quick.
Yeah, it is.
I know, man. My kids are complaining they got to go back to school in about 3 weeks.
That's
so
terrible.
Trying to get the most pool time we can until then. But, hey, guys, today Jalen Milroe is having a football camp at my son's school, Westminster Christian, up here in Huntsville. And so I'm kind of excited. I get to go as part of the media with AL.com and hopefully get to talk with him. I'm looking forward to that. I know he's doing another camp in Birmingham tomorrow, and then I think he's in Mobile on Sunday. Mike Griffith just talking about Jalen as did he say Cam Newton-like? Did he say that?
He said you could get some Cam Newton vibes from Jalen Milroe in this upcoming season. I guess what he means is there are precious few quarterbacks that can almost run and throw equally well, right?
Yeah, and can be physical in the run game.
That's right.
Jalen Milroe could be physical in the run game.
Yeah, like Milroe, his ability to take it to the house from his own 10-yard line.
That's right. He could do that, and I think if he can prove himself, he can throw it just as well as that too, right? And I think that was Mike's point, is a little more development. Basically what he is saying is you watch what Michael Penix did under Kalen DeBoer. Jalen Milroe has a skill set that could really thrive under Kalen DeBoer. I think that was Mike's overall point there.
I think that if he can just play faster, read quicker, I think that's always been his problem. He waits too long in the pocket.
Agree.
And he ends up getting sacked. And sometimes, and I hope that this is something they're really instilling in his head, dude, throw the ball away, save the yards. Completion percentage is overrated.
Yeah,
Save the yards.
if he ever gets to a point where he can check down 2 or 3, he's going to be next level. We just didn't see it last year. And when the game does slow down, which it probably will, he is a guy that could have a massive breakout season.
And I think the future will tell us the answer to this question if we ever get to see him again. How good do you think his offensive coordinator was last year?
I don't want to shoot any stray bullets, but I'm going to say C+.
Yeah, I think Tommy Rees got better. Now, I don't know what you get. Like, how involved is Nick Sheridan really going to be in this play calling?
I don't know. Our Jamarcus, and Shepard is obviously very well thought of, so I don't know.
If I get a chance to ask him a direct question today, what should I ask him, guys?
Jalen Milroe?
Yes.
You know us, it's not going to be football related. What would you ask Jalen?
I mean, you
Milroe?
could ask him, has the game slowed down a little bit? From the Texas game to where you were at the end of the year, as long as you got a clean snap, did the game seem to slow down for you?
I think my first question, JD, would be, do you feel like right now, compared to this time last year, are you physically more ready for the season or mentally more ready for the season?
I think
I'm going to try.
Yeah.
I know they want us to talk about the camp, and I will definitely, we're going to hype it up. I'll write something up for y'all.com about that. But, those sound like.
How about this one, JD? If it all said and done, you can only invite one former head coach to your wedding. Would it be Nick Saban or Kalen DeBoer?
Interesting.
Oh, gosh. I don't think I'll ask that.
Yeah.
Thank you, JD. Take
Thank
care.
you, buddy.
All right,
Appreciate
thanks,
it.
guys.
Show being brought to you in part by our friends at Champy's. Champy's world-famous fried chicken, champyschicken.com.
Sterling's going to Dallas with us.
Oh, is he?
In spirit. They're going to be one of our great sponsors.
Oh, in spirit.
Glad to
I was
have
getting
them
excited about that.
sponsoring our trip out there. I wish Sterling was going. I wish he was bringing his deep fryer.
Well, we had a conversation yesterday, and he's like, or 2 days ago, and he said, when you guys get back, you just give me a date, and I will have all of the food that you want in the studio.
Absolutely.
I will make that deal.
We'll make it a tailgate Friday one day up here. Get ready for football season. Champy's Chicken right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling and that crew there cook it up. They bring you this hour every day on the show. Mississippi Delta recipe tamales there at Top Center. Deep fried southern chicken and those chicken fingers in trays that are easy and perfect to take to a tailgate. You can't beat champyschicken.com. One more note. This could be our Champy's Chicken trivia of the day. It was, I got two actually. One was sent into Yahoo by Clint Carter. I'll give you that one in a second. This one is back. This one's back to Paul Skenes.
All right.
He's now the first rookie to start in the Major League All-Star game since
Fernando Valenzuela.
That would be this next one back. A Dodger, okay. Fernando Valenzuela in 1981. One happened in 1995, and it was another Dodger.
1995, that would have been Hideki Nomo?
Yep. Nomo in 95, Fernando in 81. Before that, I remember back when you only had one game, and it was either Yankees or Dodgers. It seemed like playing somebody every week. Occasionally you get a Phillies game. But in 1976, I was a kid. I remember they started showing some Tiger games. Mark Fidrix started in
The Bird.
Guy that, no, that wasn't. Doc Ellis was the guy on the.
The Bird was just, he was just crazy.
He would jump over, he'd jump and talk to himself and all of that.
Hey, clean read here. If Skenes stays healthy, I think he will go down as a top. This is a big if. If he never gets hurt, no Tommy John, I think he will go down as a top 10 starter of all time.
Well, last night he, I think, became the only other pitcher other than Nolan Ryan to get 11 strikeouts in less than 100 pitches.
Well, you think about from where he was at the Air Force Academy to what he did at LSU.
It's insanity, really.
To what he is doing right now. And I know a lot of people out there, baseball purists, are going to say, let's see this the second half of the season.
I mean, he was a minor leaguer 2 months ago when he's starting the All-Star game. Think about that.
And he just, I mean, he's out there like he's been pitching 6-7 years in the bigs.
Okay, this is from Clint Carter. Send it to Yahoo, not us. Clint, hope you're watching, though. Babe Ruth is the only player in Major League Baseball history to end a World Series this way, and it happened in 1926.
Rounding third with a hot dog in his right hand.
Babe Ruth is the only player in Major League Baseball history to end the World Series this way, and it happened in 1926.
Walk-off wild pitch.
Walk-off homer would be my guess, but Joe Carter did it. He's the only one, right?
Was that a game or a walk-off?
No, that was a walk-off that won the series. Yeah.
That would be the sucker lure in as a home run.
I remember I was in Oxford, Mississippi that night.
I was
drinking hot beer. That's all you could get.
Yeah, I was somewhere in a college football game. I remember seeing it, though.
You were so close, LT. He got caught stealing first to second. They were trying to steal second base, and he got thrown out.
The World Series?
And down a run?
Yeah, 1926.
Damn.
I don't know what the score was.
Who's at the plate?
Running Babe Ruth?
Right.
It does not strike me as a base
Not a lot of confidence in whoever was swinging it.
Babe Ruth got caught stealing to end the 1926 World Series, the only player ever to end the World Series that way.
Do you think if you could have replaced him with L.A. De La Cruz right now, he would have swiped that bag?
You pitch run for him when he gets on.
That catch would have been right here, and he's already sliding.
Yeah, I mean, do they not have substitution for pinch runners back then?
I don't know. I don't understand why you're stealing Babe Ruth. I mean, he does not strike me as the most fleet of foot.
No. Yeah, he never looked fast.
No,
did he looked a little.
He was a lot of
top-heavy.
things. Yeah, a lot of things. Fast and not appear.
Yeah, like
if
you're like, hey, we got to have best cannonball for the team.
Babe Ruth's my guy.
All right. Who's the actor that was on Roseanne?
John Goodman. He played Babe Ruth.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's an awful movie.
Joe Don Baker a little bit better as a Babe Ruth-like character.
What they call
in
him,
the Natural?
the bomber,
Something
the boomer,
stupid,
something like that.
The Bronx Bomber?
No. It was in The Natural. It wasn't Babe
You
Ruth.
remember
but
he
it
was
Babe
the
Ruth.
Babe Ruth. He had Barbara Hershey. Was kind of the Black Widow character who was with him on the train, and then they got off at that stop, and that's when who was the scout? Because I know Robert Duvall was there as Max.
He was the newspaper writer,
and he was like, "This guy can strike you out."
The Whammer.
Yep, the Whammer. That was it.
By the way,
thank you, Joe.
Toby in the mybookie.ag chat room says that was a mob call.
Are they giving signals?
Babe stealing second.
Did you have a mob associate over the third base
what about
dugout?
Babe, we need this one right here. If we get to get it.
Yeah, here was their sign to steal. They just open it up.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you my 45.
That's right.
All right. We've got trash when we come back right here on the show, brought to you by Champy's, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Go and check them out as you're on your way to the beach or coming back from the beach. Just off the Highway 31 exit in Alabaster, it is Champy's world-famous fried chicken.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win. Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, you. School's coming back. Time to gear up. And at New Balance Birmingham, we know what's up. Before hitting the books, check out the looks. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters. It is the will to prepare to win." Hi, I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryant Bank, and I can tell you that our Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that is right for you. At Bryant Bank, we specialize in community banking and offer personal and business loans, checking and savings account, mobile banking, and treasury management services. Stop by one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama to find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about.
Golf season is here, and if you're looking for a great golf course with affordable rates, you need to check out the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. Woodward Golf Club is a semi-private club with membership opportunities available, but is also open to the public. You can book tee times online at this hidden gem by going to golfwoodward.com. For only $195 per month, you can enjoy unlimited golf 7 days a week. Membership includes discounted cart fees, unlimited range balls, and the use of our practice facilities. For more information on memberships and the course, check us out online at golfwoodward.com.
Back with you. Before we get to trash, Forster's sending me stuff. now in a foreign language. You sent me this tweet, Forrester. I mean, what am I looking at here?
What language is it? Do you know?
French, of which I did pass a class at Montevallo in French.
How much of it do you think you speak right now? Comment allez-vous?
Nope, can't even act like I'm doing any of this.
Well, what is Scott sending you in French?
He sent me this. What is this? Give me Forrester's microphone. What am I looking at?
Cool.
Is this sand volleyball?
Fortunately, I grabbed the Google translation of this as well.
Well, I like it in French, so it's better. So this is their beach volleyball court.
Let's pretend we're at the United Nations.
Okay.
I'm going to read it in French, and then you do it in English. Nous étions à City de beach volleyball sabre yes on compete les grains wanta grand jour. Hashtag Paris 2024.
That was perfect.
Yeah, we don't even need the translation, I don't think.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's a really cool venue to put the Eiffel Tower right behind the beach volleyball.
Yeah, I do like that. The beach volleyball court there.
Nice and centered, too. I appreciate them taking very great care to center
How
it
many
up.
of the female volleyball players are going to take a picture with that between them?
All of them. Would you not?
Well, I'm talking about like the playoff, the old phallic symbol.
Yeah. Oh.
You don't think you'll see that?
I don't know. No, I
guarantee you will.
Yeah, interesting there. And I was looking for, sure, is there anything else you've tried to send me in any language that we have not gotten to yet today?
We did not get to the special Georgia uniforms.
Yeah, before you pop it up.
Are these real?
No, it's Astro Smokey.
Oh.
The internet's undefeated. Now, there have been some injuries. But
I get it now.
Yeah, but Astro Smokey, who's a Tennessee fan, so you really are when you're in the internet social media world sometimes. But Georgia has had some speeding issues lately. So they're set to unveil new Incriminator uniforms with the Dale Earnhardt logo 3 on them.
Terrible.
The Incriminator.
I like the Goodwrench Service Plus above the 3 on the jersey. Is pretty good.
Astro Smokey on Twitter from that. Yeah, interesting. Anything else, Forrester? Oh, Virginia Tech's new uniforms.
Virginia Tech.
Yeah. Okay, hi.
Yeah, these are the new uniforms. We knew they were coming. I just haven't seen them yet. They're going retro to the Michael Vick years, which is their better uniforms, and these are on fire. Love these.
Yeah, I like them too. They're terrible colors, really, but they all come together.
Not a great color scheme. I've never understood the orange and burgundy right there together.
Yeah, but I think it looks good.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, for their uniform, that's as good as they're going to do right there. I would agree.
Yeah, that's a great looking uniform, Virginia Tech.
Watch out for Virginia Tech this year.
Watch out.
They are again.
You're buying Brent Pry?
Win at Lance's Lock, the YouTube channel. I've got my 5 top overplays, and maybe Virginia Tech is one of those 5.
One thing that is not a maybe is every day in this segment we do trash, and it's brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right. Tyler, are you ready to hit the big button? Yes.
After the break, we're going to interview Eric Weihenmayer, who climbed the highest mountain in the world, Mount Everest. But he's gay. He's blind.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Might be my favorite one.
It is buying season. Our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. They were veteran founded here in Birmingham, offer loans throughout the country. While the area they serve may have grown, their commitment to Birmingham veterans has not changed. Before you take the next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. You can get more information by going to their website. Go to mortgageright.com/TNR. Call the Birmingham office, Highway 280, 205-900, 7200, NMLS 2239. Equal housing lender. This out of Maumee, Ohio. Goats, rabbits, chickens are still the agricultural focus of the Lucas County Fair. When it comes to rides this year, there's a blank space. Now, according to the Fair Board President, Jody Flores, quote, "We thought this year would be a great year. We have more vendors out there than ever. We have lots of shows that are out there. We thought this year we could bring what the public has asked us for were the great rides. With great disappointment, they failed us." Now, for 2024, Flores said the fair contracted with a new company called Big Top's Magic Midways. On Fair Week, the owner showed up at the fairgrounds with only 2 working rides.
I'm going to question whether they're working or not.
Now, Flores went on to say, quote, they had promised us 12 rides between Kid and Tween, 2 bouncy houses, 3 food trucks. When they got there, they brought 2 rides, 2 bounce houses, and 2 vendors. Now, the bounce houses were not inflated Wednesday, July 10th because of the storm. 10 of the rides, however, were simply nowhere to be seen. Now, owner of Big Top's Magic Midways, Joseph Stevens, did not want to appear on camera. Told Action 13 News the missing rides were not approved by the state because of Ohio's regulations known as the Tyler's Law. I don't know what the Tyler's Law is. I was really interested to see Rocky didn't put that in. I would assume
Tyler?
Somebody got decapitated or
Yeah,
thrown off
I
a
would
ride.
imagine there was an injury somewhere along the way, and Ohio mandated a certain level of law. That sounds exactly what happened.
It's like the old Nate Bargatze, the comedian I like, talked about going to the county fair, and he's like, you ride in Tilt-A-Whirl as a kid, you never think, this was on the interstate 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
I mean, you pass them on the interstate, they're all folded up.
Our man Tyler, he's got the answers to anything that is not me asking for him to fill in for us on trivia.
So, according to Ohio State University, Tyler's Law is an Ohio State law that requires all amusement rides to complete an initial inspection and certain amusement rides to undergo mid-season inspections.
Well, they just don't want to do the inspection?
Yeah, right. When you purchase it, don't you get Tyler to look it over and stamp it?
Yeah. I would think so, but I don't know. It said...
Sounds like they didn't pass the inspection. That's what it came down to.
Yeah, he said it didn't pass the inspection, but I would think, like, if you're a ride company, wouldn't you have more than 2 things that
One
can
would
pass
have
a
to think,
safety
Tyler.
inspection?
Yeah. No, what that means, it's bad news for when the circus and the fair goes to West Virginia. That doesn't have Tyler's Law. And those other 10 rides are going to be up and
We'll
running.
do anything we want there.
Yeah. I always, at those type fairs, they had, I think it was called the Scrambler, or maybe it was just the Swings, but either one of those, I always felt like those were where they're just swinging around on a chain.
And all it was a bar that would come down in front of me.
Yeah.
Randy and Vicky Brown would not let me go to the county fair, so I never got to participate in this.
Probably because of that.
Well, I think it's a very wise decision on their part.
I only went a couple of times. It used to be at literally about, I guess, Fairfield Fairgrounds back in the day.
State Fair,
Well, the Calhoun County Fair, as I remember, it was in the Walmart parking lot in Lindlock. That was like the normal spot for it. And we'd pass it all the time, and I would want to go as a kid, but I'd be like, we're not going to do that, son. And I think they have my best interest in mind. Do you feel safe?
No.
Like, I will tell you this. We were at, what's the pier out in California? Santa Monica Pier. And it's got a roller coaster on there. And my little one wanted to ride the roller coaster. And I was like, baby, we're going to do a lot of things in life, but we're not going to ride a roller coaster on the Santa Monica Pier. It just does not look safe.
It looked shaky. I think it's pretty secure.
It looks pretty shaky, and it's been there a minute.
It's been there a
lot
while.
of salt air on it too, Jim. That worries me.
Yeah, I rode that one. That's not too bad. I would tell you this: when Harper and Carter were a certain age, they would put something up at Oak Mountain, at the elementary school.
Yeah,
and you could see it from the road, and that was where our house was. And when I saw it for the first time, I would drive around them. I would go out of the way to miss Oak Mountain.
So we'd
get off there, go the back way around. We can miss it that way just to get back to my house.
So I've got some crazy ideas for you guys.
All right. I'm in.
I like this one. Make marriage license expire every 10 years, allowing couples to nullify their unions through apathy rather than divorce.
No, thank you. Man. I don't want to give Maggie an out window. It's like having I've got a good quarterback locked up for their career. I don't want her to have an out at any point. No way.
Apathy. Yeah, we're just tired of each other pretty much.
I tell you what, I don't like where your organization's going, Jim. I'm going to test the free agent
I got
market.
some good young receivers across the street.
Yeah.
I like this one too. Make people with loud cars live in the same neighborhood as each other.
I would 100% agree with this one.
Yeah. Don't understand it. Though I'm back in the truck game now. When I go out and crank it up at 6:30, 6:25 in the morning, I do feel guilty.
You feel a little more manly?
I feel guilty.
Oh.
Like if somebody's trying to sleep in.
Yeah.
How about this one? Illegal immigrants get a permanent hide and seek visa if they avoid being found for 10 years.
They just got to show up and prove they've been there 10 years. Well, you got it.
Yeah.
And I love this one. For a prison sentence, give the choice of doing 100% of it in regular prison, or 50% in a chain gang type place, or 20% in a torturous dungeon.
God almighty. No.
But if I got a 10-year stretch and I could do 2 in a torturous dungeon, it would suck. But
torturous dungeon, though, Lance. Put those 2 words together. Torturous dungeon.
I mean, I guess that is a problem.
I think I'd probably go 5 years chain gang.
I'd need to see the menu at that point.
Yeah. Define torturous.
Yeah, what is torturous?
Dungeon, I think I got. Define torturous.
Yeah, but how about this? How about we use, let's just use Australia as a penal colony again, just as an example. We'd find a piece of land that they would throw you out in the wild.
That's survival of the fittest.
Well, they did that at Devil's Island back in the day.
And so you get 20%, but you got to stay on Devil's Island, and then...
I don't think that would necessarily be so bad if you had the right resources around you. I'd rather be on an island without any other prisoners.
Here's an idea.
No,
I'd rather be Tom Hanks and Castaway.
No, I think we're throwing all the prisoners on that island, so you're going to be there with the worst of the worst.
That's tough.
Here's an idea.
I'd learn how to spearfish and be everybody's friend.
You can choose. We got 2 spin wheels. You can choose to go to the wheels. You spin one for the 20%, 50%, 100%, and then you have to spin the other one for where you spend it. So you could get 20% normal prison, and you're like, well, I have cashed in. Or you could get 100% torturous dungeon.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, going and I'm running then. I'm trying to scale the fence. Go and shoot me in the back.
If you got a gambling nature.
Yeah.
All right, so Brown has spun 100%. When we come back, where will he spend it?
Where is he spending
it? Finally, the top 2 cartoon characters you'd actually vote for to be president. This according to Ranker.com after our man Biden was on the podium yesterday.
So far, I'm going to say yes and yes.
Right now, based on this upcoming election, there's more than 10.
Number 10 is Wilma Flintstone. Wasn't she a little...
Ballsy?
Yeah, a little controlling and ballsy.
Yeah. Well, I think that was the image of women back then, right?
Well, Fred did give her a pearl necklace, didn't he? Look.
He did, very big one.
So you would say yes to the Senate, but don't let her be president, is what you're saying?
Yeah, that makes sense. Number 9, Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown just seemed really dumb.
Well, kind of a black
cloud. He can't even kick a football. You're going to let him run a country.
Well, she keeps moving it. You don't know
and
that.
He's not aggressive enough. We need somebody more aggressive.
You're right. He is kind of dumb.
I think he could be the... What's the is it a president of France or is it
prime minister?
Prime Minister of France.
French prime minister?
Yeah, he could run France.
Okay.
He'd be a good VP.
Yeah.
Does absolutely nothing. Number 8, Bugs Bunny. A little too confident. Of course, we've had one of those.
Yeah.
Number 7.
That's a little Bill Clinton-esque there.
Yeah.
Number 7, not a bad choice here, Papa Smurf.
He's got the beard.
He's got the respect of the whole village.
Yeah.
He's wise.
Fits the age right now.
He does, yeah. Papa. You put Papa in front of it.
He's got more of a glow than either one of them.
Yeah.
Number 6, Spider-Man.
I don't know. Our 2 guys are trending blue.
Spider-Man? He doesn't talk.
I know.
That's going to be a problem there. I think he's mute. Can he actually talk, Tyler?
Yes, he's just wearing a suit. But
he never talks through
the regular student.
Yeah, but he never talks through the mask.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, does
Sometimes,
he?
yeah.
Okay. I haven't watched much Spider-Man.
How do you think you get Kirsten Dunst upside down?
He peeled the thing. He peeled it up.
Yeah, he can't be a Bill Clinton unless he peels that thing up.
Yeah. Oh, he would.
Number 5, Optimus Prime. I don't like this one at all.
Don't?
No.
Optimus
People
Prime.
of America. Oh, no.
No, different one. Oh, Pittsburgh.
Number 4, Velma Dinkley.
Who is Velma? Oh, no. What makes her?
No. I thought she was going to win one night, and she didn't. Trump won.
Of the Scooby-Doo cast, I put her last. Scooby was by far the biggest star. Fred is better. Wilma?
Shaggy?
Who's the other girl? Daphne? No.
Yeah, Daphne.
Yeah, Daphne, yeah. I'd put her in front.
I think Daphne's pretty dumb. Shaggy would be a complete train wreck, right? So would the Greg guy. They'd all be bad.
Yeah, I don't like any of that guy.
Number 3 on the list is Superman.
Oh, of course. Who wouldn't want him as president?
Number 2, Lisa Simpson.
Don't get it.
Really dumb.
I've never really watched this.
I think number 1 makes
had
sense.
that in an episode.
Because you've got a guy that is a good businessman. I would rather have the Bruce Wayne version, but they say Batman.
I'm with you. I'd take Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I
good
think Bruce Wayne
businessman,
could do
knows
it.
how to make some billions. We'd have a good economy. I'd feel pretty safe.
Now, how would a bachelor in his 30s fly? A billionaire bachelor in his 30s?
Would he be, if he's president of the United States, billionaire bachelor in his 30s, easily the most eligible bachelor in the world?
Oh.
But Bat Force 1 does sound good.
Oh, it does. Could you imagine him coming to the press conference with all the tools on his belt?
I think it's one thing if you date Leonardo DiCaprio, you're dating a movie star, you're dating, Chad Kroger or Rockstar. But would you really want to date a president?
I would not.
Seems like a pain in the ass.
Oh, yes. Going a lot. A lot of decisions he's got to make.
Yeah, and he's got too much stress.
You can't break away at family vacation.
Like, you want to watch? I know Obama watched a ton of Netflix, but it would be tough to say, hey, you want to start this show up?
Yeah, I mean, you're always on call, too. No matter what you're
That's
doing.
right, yeah.
You're
Phone
always
could
on
ring at
call.
any point.
Hey, if you're looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Remember, whether you're looking for your final home, your first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop for mortgages. Visit them online, mortgageright.com. Call that Birmingham office, 205-900-7200.
Can you imagine LT's president, and it's 3 at this time. He's in the White House, so it's 4:15 on a Sunday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his chicken wings, his dip, his cold Bud Light.
Almost kicked.
The Rams are kicking off a big late game of the week at 4:15 on Fox.
Yep.
And they come in, it's like, Mr. President, we need you in the Situation Room.
Yeah, Lance be like, I don't know what the situation is.
I'll tell you this, it can wait 3 hours.
Yeah.
It really
of
can.
all the screens you have down there, can one of them be the Rams game?
Yeah, just tell me what couldn't wait 3 hours.
Give me the satellite vision on this one, but I need the Rams game over here.
That's right.
All right, that is Trash Today. When we come back, our final segment, which includes year 2 for several college football coaches. The debate that'll last the weekend, next on TNR.
Never miss anything Auburn. Watch Village Vice at Wardam Pods on YouTube and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trustful. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Hey, you. School's coming back. Time to gear up. And at New Balance Birmingham, we know what's up. Before hitting the books, check out the looks. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
No Rockstar today, so our lounge will be at the Floribama, a little recording that we'll get to in just a second. I'll save for the college football conversation for when we're in Dallas coming up. Still to come, we'll hear from Jay Norvell. of Colorado State at the Mountain West Media Days, and a little Carson Beck, our number one team. But LT, tell us about the great Floribama, and then set us up on what we're going to see right now in place of Rockstar, who's playing tonight in town with the Black Jacket Symphony.
Yeah, look, there are just musicians nonstop all weekend. We're in season now. They've got a big golf tournament coming up this weekend. You can also go to floribama.com for more information. But the clip we're about to see, typically we see Rockstar. This is the songwriter's room. When we're at the Floribama, 90% of the time when we're doing a show, it is in the songwriter's room. It's my favorite room. It's the room with the air conditioning. I think you guys like it. It's an intimate setting.
Good spot.
You get these guys telling backstories, having a little bit of fun. The gentleman you're about to see is Aaron Ratier. Now, Aaron Ratier wrote a song called Shunk is Drit. Shunk is Drit.
Neither one of those make any sense to me.
I know. There's a play on words coming up, but Wyatt Durrett is up there. He wrote a ton of Zac Brown songs. Rob Snyder, not the one you think of, wrote a bunch of songs for Luke Combs. And then Dave Kennedy wrote songs for Larry Flint. They're all up there. Tyler, I think you're going to cue this to 11 seconds, and we're on it. Yeah, but this is Aaron Ratier, live from the Floribama Lounge.
All right, here we go. Here's my drinking song. That's my drinking song. Follow along. If you read books, you'll appreciate it, or if you think backwards, you'll appreciate it as well. If I had a week to live, if the world was gonna end, shit, I'd take all the bottles and tip them back, my friend. If that sky was falling down and that meteor was coming, shit, I'd shoot this town a bird and hit the ground running to a side windy beach with a bowler full of Keers, rubbing that Tunsan lotion I'd shivin' to get. I'd be clappy as a ham, divin' zero gams, getting backwards upside down and shunk as drip. Shunk as drip. Shunk as drip. We're getting backwards upside down and shunk as drip. With them babes crashing on the beach and the fun shining on my face, I'd be bree as a furred and feeling fubble tree, tasting that tequila with a Sime and some law, smoking that marijuana, getting by his halls, on a side windy beach with a bowler full of Keers, rubbing that Tunsan lotion I'd shivin' to get. I'd be clappy as a ham, divin' zero gams, getting backwards upside down and shunk as drip. Shunk as drip. Shunk as drip. We're getting backwards upside down and shunk as drip. On a side windy beach with a bowler full of Keers, rubbing that Tunsan lotion on my tabby's bits. I'd be clappy as a ham, divin' zero game, get backwards upside down and shunk as drip. Shit, shunk as drip. Shunk as drip. Shunk as drip. We're getting backwards upside down and shunk as drip. We're getting backwards upside down and shunk as drip.
Sir Aaron Ratier, one and only.
How hard was that to write, dude?
I was about to say, man.
Twisted my mind all up.
It was harder to stop writing it.
It's going to be tough to do, no doubt.
But you can get Shunk is Dret at the Floribama all weekend long. They've got the golf tournament. For more information, that was Aaron Ratier and others at the Songwriters Room. Go to floribama.com. Funny, when my Uncle Steve Powers, our buddy, sent this over, he said, it's a wordplay on drunk as shit.
I figured it out.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I figured it out.
Glad you think I'm that stupid.
At first, I didn't understand it.
We appreciate the Floribama. Looking forward to our next trip down to the coast. Before we go, Colorado State head coach Jay Norvell at Mountain West Conference Media Day on the problem of being at his school right now when you have a talented quarterback or other players. He's talking about his quarterback this year getting offers to go play at another school that was also in Las Vegas for media days. Listen in.
You know, I think the challenge for us is our elite players gotta be able to stay in this conference, and that's getting to be a challenge. You know, I've had every team in America try to take Torrey Horton from us. I mean, from Texas A&M to Ole Miss. I mean, they have all been on him. Really important that you have an open line of communications with your players. And Torrey just tells me, yeah, this guy just called me last night and asked me this and offered me, and I just laugh and I said, thank God we got Torrey Horton, because he's an amazing kid. A lot of kids wouldn't do that. And so same thing with Braden. Braden had the same kind of offers. And you can't, if you have enough evidence, you can prove it, but smoking gun. He said guy from Kansas State called him, offered him $600,000 because they lost their quarterback, and if he got in the portal. And I'm not accusing Kansas State of anything. I'm just telling you what the kid told me. And so if they don't want their name thrown in it, I think they should probably get a handle on their people. But there's a lot of that going on in college football, and that's just the way things are right now.
I don't believe any of this. I don't think Kansas State's offering $600,000 when they've got their quarterback.
Right.
I think if he's got players that stay, great for them, but I find it hard to believe if A&M is really offering them, they're not going.
Torrey Horton had 1,136 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns. He's a good receiver.
Yeah.
I think a lot of schools could use him.
Can you imagine doing sports, local writing or podcast in Denver with Dion and Jay Norvell as your two coaches? Soundbite City every day. All right, that's our show. Thank you again to the Floribama. Great trip down there. Golf tournament this weekend. Always a lot of fun down there. Don't forget War Damn Pods, Roll Tide Pods for all your football throughout the weekend. The Meltdown's live today at 2 o'clock again with the guys and the Pennant Grace and Uncorked for your weekend listening. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Drink responsibly this weekend from Dallas, live at 12 noon Monday. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.